Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seat. The show is about to begin.
Presented by Front Yard Fantasy. I'm your host, Simon. Joined as always by my wildly handsome co-host, John Luke Garofalo. Our friend Coop with us, aka Coop A. Fiasco. What's up, everyone? Welcome into the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. I'm your host, Simon, joined as always by my co-host, Andrew Cooper. What's up, Coop?
What's up, my boy? How we doing?
Doing all right this morning. It's a little empty on this screen. We're missing someone.
Yeah. Where's the Frijoles guy?
The Frijoles guy is he had to talk to a farmer about his hog. So you know how long those conversations can take.
We got a long hog. You gotta have a long talk. You know what I'm saying? So
every single day. We got some people in the chat ready for today's show. 2 rhymes today. Tommy over here said when the clock strikes 4, he is a Raider no more. To the Jets, Saints, Panthers, and the rest, I hope wherever he goes, he gives you his best. What's up, John Luke? You finish your conversations with that farmer about his hog?
Nope. But I told him I had to go. I got a show to do.
hey, that was a bit of a cryptic Derek Carr poem from Tommy there, huh?
Of course it's cryptic.
So
Derek Carr's a cryptic man.
He kind of is. He arguably who is the most cryptic quarterback besides Aaron Rodgers?
Cryptic quarterback. Someone that like
they've got a little mystery about him. They've got a little like for instance, with Kyler Murray, we kind of know what he's about. It's basically football and video games. Like who's we don't really know what they got going on. Who's a man of mystery?
Trey Lance. What's your deal, man?
What? Yeah. What do you do up in South Dakota?
Yeah, believable story. You were in South Dakota for 4 years.
A likely story. I bet it's a lot of throwing snowballs at cars. Where's Kevin Tompkins? He lives up that way. He could tell us what the heck they do up there.
They just like Pat Buffalo and stuff, I think.
Pat Buffalo?
That sounds dangerous.
Like that.
And then run away.
Yeah.
That activity is for some reason very confusing.
It's like cow tipping, but much less exciting, but way more dangerous.
Sounds like South Dakota.
We got
classic South Dakota right there.
We got Craig in the chat this morning. He said, roses are red, chimpanzees are rude. Coop, Jail, and Simon have the show to get your V-Day date in the mood.
Yeah.
Looking for a little something romantic to throw on the TV tonight. Set the mood for you and your special Valentine's Day date. Put the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show replay on.
He's going to
on our YouTube channel or on the BSN app. Put it on in the background. Oh, you're going to get whoever your partner is just right in the mood for whatever you're doing.
We guarantee it.
Joe, why don't you help get him in the mood by sing us a little sexy song? Sing us a little
Baby, I love you.
I was gonna request Dare Agubawale.
No requests, please.
We don't.
Oh, that's a pretty good request, though. Dare Agubawale.
We got Michael, and you're saying Davis Mills is mysterious. Does he really exist?
Oh, that is a good one. Brock Purdy, kind of mysterious.
For all we talked about Davis Mills last year, it is almost like he stopped existing this season. I think his name was brought up like 4 times.
I think Jacob Sanderson said it best on Twitter when he said, I don't think I've watched a moment of Texans football this year.
just missed that entire season.
I know it happened, though. Like, I know it happened, but I just didn't see any of it.
Yeah, I think everyone watched their week 12 or week 13 game against the Browns because of the narrative being driven up, and then no one else watched another Texans game all season.
That was the one. Yeah, that was the one that everyone saw a little bit of, and we're all just like, this is just bad football.
This is not fun.
The Browns didn't help, though. They came out and threw their own flavor of Brown football on that one, huh?
No, they didn't. Yeah, that was a rough season for both teams. You didn't miss much if you didn't watch either of those games this season. We got Tommy and you're saying Craig has his heart on for you guys today.
Nice.
I anchorman that one. And
Nice.
Tommy said, "How about Jordan Love? Mysterious and appropriate."
Yeah,
Pretty
he has
mysterious.
been quite mysterious. I wonder if he gets a shot, and we'll have to see when Aaron Rodgers emerges from the cave.
I feel like he's only mysterious because Aaron won't let him play. Like Aaron won't let him out of the, won't let him out to play with anybody.
Jordan Love is so excited about the darkness retreat because it means he gets to leave.
Yeah, like
Aaron Rodgers has just had him locked in a dark shed, and Aaron's gonna knock on the door and be like, "Okay, my turn."
Yeah, the crazy thing with Jordan Love, like this year, are they gonna have to like? Is this the year that they have to decide on his 5th-year contract without even having seen him
It's
play?
gotta be. I feel like he's been playing for like 15 years somehow, is what it feels like.
Yeah, I think so. It looks like this year, 2000. He's 2023 last year of his deal, so they have to decide on May 1st this year if they want to pick up his 5th-year option. That's wild. I wonder if
I'm
they
gonna
do.
venture no.
Yeah, do they
Wasn't
pay
he a first-round pick as well? Like that's not going to be a necessarily cheap 5th-year option, right?
Yeah. So the current setup is only first-year picks. You can pick up the 5th-year option for quarterbacks. It's estimated to be $20 million. So, but the thing is, you look at the Giants. They didn't pick up Daniel Jones's 5th-year option, and now they're looking to have it to pay him $30 million. So, yeah, wow,
That's a lot of money for Daniel Jones.
quite a bit.
What does he spend it on?
Legos.
Mutual funds.
Legos are actually pretty expensive, dude. I imagine like you can't even get that many Legos with $20 million.
Messed up.
You can get some Legos.
You can't get all of them. I don't think you
Definitely
can get them
can't
all.
buy all of them. How much
you-
would it cost to buy every single Lego?
A lot.
Not like every.
In perpetuity, or
I'm not
that
saying
exists
like
currently?
every single Lego that's out there you own. I'm saying you own all the ones that they offer.
Every Lego set.
I was
that's
gonna
ever
say
existed?
good luck
Yes.
getting mine. Because once I know what you're up to, the price is going way up.
Who said I'm paying?
Supply and demand. You know,
Oh
if you
my
wanna get mine.
Devontae Smith. Boom!
I
Steal
wonder-
all your-
I wonder how much every single Lego. Yeah. Tommy says billions. Probably. I mean, the Star Wars ones alone are usually like $300 for a set.
And if we're talking like ever made, some of the like older sets that are out of print, right, that they don't make anymore, those are going to be nutso butso, man. Just off the nutso butso.
That's true.
chart.
Now you're getting the collectibles.
We got Michael in here saying the Texans only exist for Derrick Henry to destroy worlds. Sometimes it does seem like that. Like it's just the Texans games are Derrick Henry reminders. Like in case you forgot Derrick Henry is Derrick Henry, here's the Texans to remind you. Craig said you can get almost 200,000 of the T-Rex Escape Lego set from Jurassic Park for that much. So Daniel Jones is about to have a lot of Lego T-Rexes around his apartment.
Like
They're going to be
so
everywhere.
many.
Never puts them away.
Guys,
It's
it
all
is-
over the floor.
It is time to get into BYOB. I hope you brought something to eat, a snack, a beverageino, a cappuccino, a coffee. Whip it out, take a sip, take a bite, and we're going to bring the news your direction. John Luke, you bring any BYOB today? You got any breakfast for me?
I got a nice glass of water.
That's pretty good, dude.
Do you
Pretty-
chew your
Just
water?
call me a plant.
Pretty high nutritional value.
That's what they say.
Wasn't I supposed to be replaced by a plant today?
Yeah, he was
You were.
busy.
Yeah, we couldn't get the plant, so you're here.
I have some yogurt with granola and blueberries, and I cut up a banana in there, and I have chocolate milk and a coffee. Pretty big
Wow.
breakfast there.
I ate a donut at 3 a.m. when I woke up, so I'm counting that as breakfast.
That counts.
3
counts,
a.m.,
right?
bro.
What kind of donut?
Not really. That's like practically still dessert.
It's
is a
closer
distinct-
to when I wake up than when I go to bed by a lot. Right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, but I guess the difference maker is that you have slept. Like, if you're still awake, I think that's still dessert. But once you've slept, now it could be breakfast.
But what if I slept for the second time? Like that was like a nap afterwards, like a nice little 2-hour nap.
Now you're getting
And
into,
it's its own thing.
now the next time you eat, you're getting into brunch.
Now you got an island snack on your hands.
Oh, all my meals are going to be thrown off now. If I eat
Yeah.
anything, now it's lunch. I'm never going to get back on track, guys.
Be careful.
You'll get there.
Just be careful, okay?
I'll do my best. To hit on what Tommy wrote his little poem about at the beginning of the show here today, Derek Carr has refused to waive his no trade clause and is expected to be cut by the Raiders later today. Makes sense whenever you think about it. He's going to a new team. Why would he want to hamper the team that he's going to if he doesn't have to, right? Take picks from a team that's going to try to load up to help him and the team that he's trying to win on. I get it. No need to help the organization and hurt your future organization when that organization is not signing you to anything.
Yeah. It seems like this relationship has reached its natural end and he's just done. Right. As we've seen throughout the last few weeks, is he's not budging for this organization. He's just doing what's best for him, which I'm cool with.
I was thinking about the whole no trade clause situation yesterday, and it's kind of interesting because like now he can do this to the team. But like, think of how awkward that is at the time when you're like signing that contract and you having those discussions, and you're just like, "Why don't you put a no trade clause in there?" And they're like, "We don't want to." And he's like, "Oh, well, are you gonna trade me?" And they're just like, "No, but you know what I mean." It's like, what's the reasoning to be like, "Oh, well, we're not putting that in there." Oh, I thought we were just about to sign a big contract. I thought you guys liked me here. What's with the trade talk? You know, like, why don't you just put that in there? Like, that's kind of an awkward discussion to have, is it not?
It is. But yeah, you're essentially hedging right in front of someone, right?
Right.
Against them.
Yeah, just put it in there, right? Or are you going to trade me? And there's like, I don't
Yes.
know. It turns out the answer is yes, but now he's got that trade clause, and right, it's kind of crazy that. But it's interesting now because with the reports coming out, like Tommy said, Jets, Saints, Panthers with his list. Well, I guess you can probably cross the Saints off that list, right? Because that was the team we got in the report that they tried to trade him to the Saints, and he said no.
See, I don't think it means no Saints. I think there's a very real chance he still ends up with the Saints. And this is like that. This response is specifically because he's determined which team he wants to go to. Like, again, the team that trades for him would have to give up draft capital. And if he can become a free agent and then just sign with that team, the team of his preferred choice, he doesn't have to worry about that. So like, I don't view this coming after that Saints visit and saying, no, I refuse to be traded there, as him saying, I don't want to play for the Saints.
Yeah, that's whenever you said that, Coop, I was like, did he say that already specifically that he's not going to the Saints?
The report was that that there was a trade on the table and that he turned that down, and that he also basically said, like, I'm not accepting any trade. That was the rumor.
Yeah, I'm not accepting any trade.
Now you can't leave. So yeah.
That line, I like that line specifically. Now I'm not accepting any trade. Maybe he like saw what a team would be expected to give up to trade for him. Know what I mean? And the detriment that could have to the team that he's going to.
That would show a level of foresight I would not expect from Derek Carr, but would be a breath of fresh air.
I mean, it makes sense though. Like, I really don't think it's like, I feel like assuming otherwise is assuming a little bit little of him, just to like think I will no longer be on this team. I will be on this team. Which team do I want to have the draft picks? You know what like it just seems like a no-brainer, right?
The elevator music starts playing. Do, 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 do.
Okay, you can have him.
I'll go.
Craig wants to do any of you have no trade clauses?
Well, that's kind of a touchy subject. So we did cover it up by saying I was on my honeymoon, but I was actually briefly traded to a Czech Extraliga podcast, which is why I was in Europe, covering the Extraliga, talking about Zdeno Chara and mostly just hockey players from the Czech Republic. So I was traded. What did you guys? I forget. What did you guys get in return for that trade?
Not enough.
Some Czech candies.
And then once those ran out, you kind of just that's why I was traded back.
Yeah, we had to get our lawyers involved. It only lasted us one day. We were promised a 3-week supply of Czech candy. It lasted 1 day. I think they underestimated how much candy we could eat, but the terms of the contract said 3-week supply. We didn't get there.
So the deal kind of nullified because the entire country of the Czech Republic ran out of candy.
That's true. We ate all their candy in 1 day.
And so I'm back. And I still don't have a no trade clause, so still on the table. Potentially. Yeah. Have you guys been fielding any offers lately? Any
No, we shut it down recently, but we'll open it back up now that it's the off season.
That's fair. That's fair.
We got Tim in here saying Carr is going to be signed by Spencer's. Spencer's Gifts is where Carr is going to be signed. And Michael said Carr goes to Green Bay while Aaron Rodgers is in the dark. Just shows up during the. Can you imagine the chaos if while he's in the darkness retreat, the Packers did something like that?
Oh, that would be amazing.
He emerges from the darkness retreat to see that Derek Carr has been signed to the Packers.
He'd probably be at peace with it, I assume. Either that or they would fight. Who would win in
back in and shut the door? Emerge 4 days later.
Who would win in a fist fight between Derek Carr and Aaron Rodgers? Just mano y mano.
Aaron Rodgers, unless Derek Carr has a knife, which he might.
I feel like they'd swing at the same time and knock each other out.
The Coors Light, Miller Light move from the Super Bowl commercial.
Derek Carr does kind of have a hold a knife between his teeth vibe to him, right?
Something very piratey. It's the eyes.
Or like
it's the eyes, 100%.
It is the eyes, yeah. So
Tom said they would not fight. They would discuss their emotions.
Actually, that's fun. I'd cry a little.
Very mature.
Derek Carr's mascara running
down his face.
Michael had a question for us. Who's worth more in Dynasty, Daniel Jones or Trey Lance? It's a legitimate question.
I think if it's a single QB league, it's Trey Lance, just because in the single QB, the barrier to entry to being like a startable even quarterback is a lot higher. Like you really need serious mobility or the upside of throwing 50 touchdowns. I mean, Daniel Jones did actually do a good amount of scooting around this year. He got like 700 yards. But do we really think he's that kind of guy that can be a full-time Jalen Hurts or Lamar Jackson type guy? Because that's the whole intrigue with Trey Lance, right? That he can be that player, that he can be the next Justin Fields or Jalen Hurts. So I think Trey Lance has more value right now. What do you guys think?
I'm with you. It's Trey Lance for me. He's a little bit younger as well. The Daniel Jones is a relatively young quarterback. And with quarterback, like that matters even less for Dynasty, right? These guys have long careers usually. But Trey Lance has that rushing upside. And I feel like, especially in one quarterback leagues, like you said, upside is more what we're looking for in these guys instead of just like stability.
Yeah, Daniel Jones, despite improving and despite having a promising future now ahead of him for fantasy, I don't think it's there. I don't think the upside will be there. I don't think he'll ever have the upside that Trey Lance can have.
Now, it is worth mentioning that only one of these guys is for sure the starter next year. And that's Daniel Jones. We don't know for sure that Trey Lance is going to be the starter. We know Daniel Jones is going to be the starter unless he gets injured, right?
Yeah, great point.
Well, once they sign him. But they're trying to get that contract done. I see we got NKC in here saying hi. What's up, NKC? Welcome, man.
What up, NKC?
KC.
ESPN Stats and Info put out a statistic yesterday. Patrick Mahomes last season did something that only 3 players have ever done in their entire career. He did it in 1 year. That is win the regular season MVP, win the Super Bowl MVP, lead the NFL in passing touchdowns, and lead the NFL in passing yards. Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and Kurt Warner have done that in their career. Patrick Mahomes just did it in 1 season in his 5th year in the league.
Whoa. That's pretty good.
That's absurd.
How many touchdowns did he throw?
I think it was in the 40s, right? I think it was a highest touchdown total this year.
Yeah, there's been some pretty oddly low ones. I remember Russell Wilson led the league with like 36 ones.
I believe it was like 42 or something like that, if I'm remembering correctly. But I could have that number wrong.
That's a good number. It's a good number of tutties.
Mahomes good at football, guys.
You think so?
I think so.
Now that it's been statistically proven via this.
Present your case.
Win game. Good football. Patrick Mahomes.
Back to you.
41 touchdown. Patrick Mahomes. It wasn't 42. It was 41. 41 passing touchdowns.
That's still pretty good.
Wait, I heard this absurd statistic yesterday. I wish I could pull up the tweet and find it. But that Devonta Smith was the first Alabama football player to ever score a touchdown during the Super Bowl. That doesn't include passing. Bart Starr threw one, but because that doesn't count as scoring a touchdown. That's a passing touchdown, right? But like having the ball in the end zone, Devonta Smith is the first player from the University of Alabama to have ever scored in the Super Bowl.
That can't be right.
That seems unbelievable, right?
Where did you find that information?
I saw it on Twitter, so take it as 100% fact.
That's crazy.
And I read nobody, like the only person in the comments that thought it was like, yeah, right, Bart Starr threw it. And they were like, actually, passing touchdowns are a different statistic than scoring touchdowns. Like touchdowns and passing touchdowns are a different stat. So
that's crazy. For such
I didn't see any other rebuttals, and people go rebutting things online.
They truly do. It's such a prestigious program. That is wild.
I couldn't believe it. I immediately disbelieved it. Pretty crazy. Shout out Devonta Smith.
Yeah, star.
Pretty good game. He had a pretty good game.
Andy Reid came out. They asked him about potential staff changes. He said, listen, Eric Bieniemy has been tremendous for us. I think he's been tremendous for this NFL. I'm hoping he's having an opportunity to go somewhere and do his thing where he can run the show and be Eric Bieniemy. So it's not Andy Reid holding back old EB there, who one of Twitter's most popular coaching candidates, but for some reason just doesn't seem to even be getting a lot of interviews. What do you guys think? Do you think this is his time to shine, or our team's still going to go with somebody else? Because I mean, his name has been floated around so many times, and he just never quite gets the pick. He doesn't get picked.
Yeah, he does seem to always be in this conversation year after year, and it does seem baffling. I don't understand why he job yet. I don't know if this is a him thing he wants to stay in Kansas City or if this is external, but you guys think he's going to get a head coaching job this year?
I seem to think so. But that being said, there's a limited number of them. These teams have reasonings for hiring or not hiring coaches that are beyond what we understand, right? Besides just like Chiefs good, Bieniemy good. Like there's more that goes behind it. So maybe he waits another cycle. If I had to put money down, I would say he gets a head coaching job this cycle, but I'm going to be shocked if in the next 2 years he's not a head coach of some NFL team.
Yeah. The apparently all 4 coordinators from the Super Bowl are being interviewed by the Colts. I believe I saw. So they're all going to get a shot at it. With Bieniemy,
Jeff Saturday's job.
I know, his to lose, right? We have heard certain players come out and kind of talk a little trash about Eric Bieniemy, but it's also players that it's a little hard to trust. Some of these guys talk trash about everybody. Like LaShawn McCoy was one of the ones that talked trash about Eric Bieniemy, but I mean, he's out there just talking trash nonstop. Is he not? Like, and
shady.
The other one, of course, Le'Veon Bell came out and said that, right? So I don't know. Did you guys hear what LaShawn McCoy said about Eli Apple?
No, but I'm sure it's great.
Dude, he was like, LaShawn McCoy. He's like, Eli Apple changed teams so many times. They don't even ask him what number he wants anymore. And the other dude on the podcast was like, what do you mean by that? And McCoy's like, he's one of those dudes where they show up and they just go through the bag and be like, you look like a 32. And just they just throw him a jersey. Like, that's so mean, dude.
They don't even ask him his number anymore.
Yeah. McCoy, dude. So it's hard to trust what McCoy is saying about anybody these days. But we do have it. We do have that on notes. So it's worth mentioning. A couple guys have come out and been like, I don't like this guy. So, who knows?
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
He looks like a 32. Awesome, a freaking jersey.
That's what he said about Eli Apple, which I'd be cracking up, dude.
Michael came in here and had a question for us. So what do the Chiefs do with wide receiver next year? So Juju, a free agent. What do you guys think this team is going to do with the wide receiver position? Coop, you mentioned it a bit yesterday, what you think they should do.
Yeah, the Chiefs, the only reason the Chiefs got Juju is because they are the Chiefs. Like Juju Smith-Schuster, at the stage of career that he was in, at 25 years old, coming off a season with the Steelers, he doesn't go and sign for 1 year, $3 million or whatever it was with any old team. he signed with the team where he could win the Super Bowl and where he could prove to the league that he deserves the big long-term contract. That's what that deal was all about. You don't go sign a 1-year prove it deal with, like the Bears,
Falcons,
right? The Falcons. Like, you don't sign one of those deals with them. So the contract's not going to look anything like it did last year. I think he's going to get paid this year. I think he arguably is the best wide receiver available. So I think they basically just they keep MVS, who's under contract. He plays on the outside. One of Sky Moore or Kadarius Toney moves into that Juju Smith-Schuster role, and then maybe they do draft somebody to play split end or flanker on the outside, a bigger guy. But it's not much out there that does what they're looking for, right? So I think they might have to go to the draft because I don't think they really have the cap or ability to sign somebody. Unless, I don't know, what do you guys
figure out
think?
how to sign Alan Lazard as their big body guy in that offense. Alan Lazard would probably actually
be perfect
in that Chiefs offense. He would probably be a good addition over there.
He would
rebuild the Packers, but on the Chiefs.
Slowly. They bring Aaron Rodgers over, but just sit him on the bench, make him watch Mahomes.
It would be Alan Lazard would be an upgrade over Justin Watson, right?
Hey, watch your mouth.
Yeah, no
He had
Justin Watson slander on
He had
the
like
show.
14 yards in the Super Bowl. Coop.
That's Super Bowl champion Justin Watson to you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
He had
Friends with Super Bowl champion Chad Henne.
Hey, he almost won me a lot of money if I trusted him.
Now I trust him with my whole heart.
I had to wait and see, though. Sorry, Justin.
Fool me once, fool me twice. We got Jolly Rancher in here saying Happy Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's
Day.
Yeah,
Welcome.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Eddie had another question for us in here. Michael asked us about the Chiefs wide receivers. Eddie wants to know about the Eagles running backs. So what is Philly going to do next year if Sanders is gone? Draft Bijan or Gibbs? Are they going to go to free agency or just roll with Gainwell and Boston Scott?
I personally, if I was the Eagles, I wouldn't spend up huge draft capital at running back. Like, you look at the teams that have won the Super Bowl. Marcus Mosier put like a graphic out the other day, and like, there's basically been like on the past 15 Super Bowl winning teams, there's basically been one guy that made $2 million that year, and everybody else was under. And if you look at what the Eagles specifically do, they have Jalen Hurts, who is top 5 in carries from inside the 5-yard line, one of the most efficient red zone and goal line players. So you don't need to go crazy at running back because you have this guy that can just dunk it at the end of the drive, right? It's like the Bills with Devin Singletary. You just need somebody who can get it done. So in my opinion, you're overdoing it spending up for Bijan Robinson. You could get away with Boston Scott on early downs and Kenneth Gainwell on pass downs, or bring in a 3rd or 4th round rookie, or even just a veteran. But I think it's unnecessary to draft a running back in the 1st round.
This is their draft pick situation this year. They have the 10th overall pick in this draft via New Orleans, and they also have the 31st pick in this draft, in the 1st round of this draft. So 2 picks in the 1st round. I agree with Coop. I don't know that. I think I would be disappointed if they go running back in the 1st round. That would just be surprising. Running back position just isn't going to be valued enough. They'd probably have to go for Bijan Robinson at the 10th overall spot would be my guess.
Or trade up from that 31.
Or trade up from that 31. Yeah, I can't imagine he makes it to the back of the first round.
We've seen it, though, right?
We have seen it, yeah.
Jonathan Taylor was a 2nd-round draft pick.
Yeah. I shouldn't have said I can't imagine. I could totally imagine that happening. That's not absurd. It's a very realistic.
I'm with you, Jale. I'm sitting here thinking, like, if Bijan is sitting there at 31, like, I don't think they trade up to get him. I don't think they take him at 10. Then I think maybe we see them grab Bijan Robinson. But I don't think he's going to be sitting there. I am with you. But we've seen, like, I think Jonathan Taylor going in the 2nd round was kind of wild too.
Yeah.
And you look at it, it's like, I don't want anyone to go there because I'm a fantasy football fan. Like, that's the last thing I want. Like, if Bijan goes there, I'll be sad because think about it. Do you guys know how many rushing touchdowns Jalen Hurts scored this year?
11.
More than both of those numbers.
14
season.
Just under. He had 13 rushing touchdowns this year. 13 rushing touchdowns. Just if you give 5 of those to Miles Sanders, now he's like a top 5 running back, right? Like, you give him all to Miles Sanders, that was super duper megastar. And it's just it's bad for fantasy football. So I don't want them doing anything at running back. Stay away.
Boo. I want Bijan Robinson on the Chiefs or the Bengals. I'm trying to will it into existence.
The
Those are the two
Bengals.
teams.
The Bengals have a trash line.
Cut Joe Mixon, get Bijan on there. It started coming together towards the end of the. I mean, it didn't like on paper, nothing changed, but all of a sudden their line worked towards the end of the season.
Do you think they make that move again if they're on the clock? Because they did that. They made this trade-off with Jamar Chase, right? They could have gone, was it Penei Sewell?
Yep.
And they decided Jamar Chase instead. You think they're going to do that again? Bijan Robinson instead of going O-line?
They really should go O-line then. And Joe Mixon is fine. Joe Mixon, they wouldn't even be talking about him being cut, but he's being paid $15 million this year, 10 of which can come off the books. So they don't have $5 million in dead cap. But Joe Mixon, he's good. And if he gets cut by the Bengals, then he'll now all of a sudden be one of the best free agent running backs available. You know what I mean? It'll be like third on the list, in my opinion, after Saquon Barkley and Josh Jacobs, who are super mega stars. So, like I tweeted yesterday, if Joe Mixon gets cut and he ends up going to a team like the Dolphins, that would actually be an upgrade for Joe Mixon. Just going to a team with a better offensive line. Who knows? So I'm willing to buy Joe Mixon.
I don't hate that move.
People got very upset when I said that I'd be willing to buy Joe Mixon in Dynasty.
I saw your tweet. I agreed with it.
You and me, and that's it, basically, because sometimes the community just decides all at once on one thing, and that's the perfect time to go and trade for that player.
It's a clear indicator. They're all there's something else going on. Yeah, it's a little bit of groupthink going on.
Exactly. And I think a big part of it is that, he had the gun charges lately. I think everybody, when they saw the gun charge thing, they went and looked at his contract and they were like, he was going to get cut anyway. It's like, well, he hasn't been cut now, even with the gun charge thing. So,
that was all dropped.
Yeah, exactly. It was all dropped. So that's not a problem. So he hasn't been released yet. He's still on the team. Joe Burrow, I guess Joe Burrow didn't say it himself, but Jamar Chase came out and said Joe knows he wants to keep all his weapons here and he's trying to work out a contract. So I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if Joe Mixon is on the Bengals next year. So
yep. And when I say he's likely to get cut, I am talking solely from the contract perspective, the money they can save,
which is a lot.
Which is a lot of money. Tim in here wants Bijan on the Dolphins.
Yeah, they ain't getting back. Bijan ain't getting back to the back of the second round.
I know. I wanted to there, Tim. I want
they forfeit their first round pick.
Those cheaters, those filthy, dirty cheaters, the biggest cheaters in the AFC East. That's what everyone's been saying.
Yeah, that's what for years now. That's what people have been saying. There's no other team in the AFC East that people would even consider cheaters.
Yeah, maybe the Jets, but yeah, that's about it. But Tim, I'm with you, man. That'd be the perfect landing spot, right? If we like Christian McCaffrey in Kyle Shanahan's offense, running behind Trent Williams, then we would love Bijan Robinson in Kyle Shanahan's offense, south, running behind Teron Armstead, right? Like that's the whole deal. Like if you like what the 49ers do, that's what the Dolphins are doing. And they went out and got the pieces, right? It's like Teron Armstead, maybe not Trent Williams, but we're talking about two guys that are top 5 tackles. They went out and got Alec Ingold, which I think is one of the better. He's not Kyle Juszczyk, but he's one of the better fullbacks. Like he built the same offense over there. He's built the same offense with better wide receivers, right?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't get much better than Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. And that's not saying that the Niners wide receivers are bad. They got Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk over there, but I'll take Waddle and Hill.
When you add up the sum of all the pieces, the offenses are very similar. I mean, they don't have a George Kittle.
All the pizzas.
When you add up the sum of all the pizzas, dude, when you pick
sum up the pizzas,
when you go pepperoni by pepperoni, at the end of the day, it's the best landing spot for running back, no question.
When you go pepperoni by pepperoni, it's the best landing spot for running back.
Let me tell you.
We'll have to ask. Tony Hot Pasta La Barbara on Friday if it's the best pepperoni for pepperoni landing spot in the league.
You guys see the video of Roger Goodell just absolutely sloshed after the game talking to Chris Jones? He is clearly wasted, and he's hugging Chris Jones, and then you can't hear him, but you can see on his mouth, and he says the words, "I don't care how you hit the quarterback." You could see him audibly say that to Chris Jones while like hugging him, drunk, like he's just having a good. It was the most like human I've ever seen Roger Goodell. It was like just like bros being bros between Chris Jones and Roger Goodell, which
He's
was
like, I'm not allowed to say this, but you're my favorite.
it had exactly those vibes. No, Chris, really. You can hit him however you want, man. Anything for you, my best bud.
That's awesome. I love that.
If you guys haven't seen it, I'll send you the link. You got to check it out.
Oh, Raj. Well, you don't have to send me the link. Keith, can you play that video at some point? Come on, see what you can do. Come on, wake up. Hey, Keith, wake up. Iron Dog, let's go. You're like, whoa.
We should just do little alarms for Keith throughout the show.
Yeah.
We had some more.
Keith, the show's not working.
Oh no!
Oh, Luigi.
We had some more coaching news. Adam Schefter broke this one yesterday. Unfortunately, it looks like the Jeff Saturday head coaching saga is going to be coming to a close because it's expected that offensive coordinator for the Eagles, Shane Steichen, is going to fly to Indianapolis and finalize his deal to become the Colts' next head coach. Did you guys see that?
Oh,
Just see Jeff Saturday stomping around his house.
Actually, I imagine him taking it very differently, being like, well, back to what I was doing before.
Yeah,
right. Insurance.
Like, that was interesting.
Okay.
What a weird couple months that was.
Yeah.
Mom, I'm coming home.
I think I know the answer to this one, but do you think Jeff Saturday gets another head coaching game?
Yes.
What if, right? Another team is like, we got him.
Steichen gets fired halfway through the season because Irsay misses his friend Jeff and installs him as the head coach for the rest of the way on. Does this every year. Names him the interim head coach over and over again, and then just gets cold feet when it comes time to marry him.
I think the bigger question here is, will Jeremy Rosberg, the clock king, will he get another job as head coach?
Be careful with that one, with that nickname.
I think he will. I think he should at least get another clock job somewhere. That's the thing is that, like, why do you have to? Why do you have to why do you have to be completely fired? Like, why can't these guys, you make him interim head coach, he can't go back to being the clock guy. You have to fire him. Like
it's a one-way ticket.
It really is, dude. A one-way ticket, dude. It's
what team's clock needs some work?
And honestly, Andy Reid historically has been pretty bad at managing timeouts, but not this game, right? With Jerick McKinnon sliding down at the end.
It's a pretty prestigious job, Andy Reid's clock guy.
Very important.
The managing of Andy Reid's clock. Pretty happy about it.
Yeah, I'd be pumped on that. I'd be fired up. I'm trying to think of what other teams might. Most of the teams that we have glaring issues with time management, usually those coaches just get fired.
Yeah, they've got other issues as well, usually. We'll see where he ends up, Jalen. I'm sure he's in line to get a head coaching gig any day now.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Now, speaking of this, the hiring of this coach as the Colts head coach, the NFL is actually considering a blanket rule that would prohibit all teams from hiring head coaches until after the Super Bowl.
I like it.
I kind of like that. I agree.
Just wait. It's like the people that stand up immediately on the plane.
Oh,
that's essentially what this feels like.
Biggest pet peeve.
Like, you shouldn't get an advantage for losing earlier.
Yeah, I remember there was a coach, there was a coach that left he left like legit, like almost like before the season was over, or maybe like right after. I think it might have been Bill Parcells that just was like immediate, like, all right, see you later. Like, just kind of bounced on his team. So I like the idea of it being after the Super Bowl.
I'm with you. It college kind of is on the other side of it, right? With their hiring practices, coaches leave before the end of the season, before the bowl games all the time. Like, they'll get hired and they won't even coach the bowl game. They'll head over to their new school to start getting ready. They got to hit the ground running over there. I like the idea of avoiding that in the NFL if possible.
Who was the Arkansas coach that did that? I remember he was in like a pretty serious bowl game, and he's just like, all right. Or he maybe went to coach at Arkansas. There was a guy. I remember one that was.
And then
like, is this serious right now?
And there was like big scandal around it too. I believe he got in like a motorcycle crash while cheating on his wife or something like that. There was some crazy Arkansas. I'm gonna find it, Coop. I'm gonna figure it out because I remember the story that you're talking about.
Why was he cheating on his wife on his motorcycle?
No, it was with the motorcycle.
Dude.
Sorry, I misspoke.
That makes way more sense. Okay.
Either way, dude likes to party. Dude knows how to party. There's no question about that. Yeah.
He's having a good time. The fact that no one in the chat is coming with the name makes me think I'm making it up entirely. You know what I mean? Usually someone pops in like, oh, you're thinking of Booby Dooby. They got the name. Tommy's got it ready to go.
Booby Dooby.
Tommy, yeah.
Guys,
That
just reminded me of a weird interaction I had yesterday while walking Rosie. I was out just walking Rosie on the sidewalk, and all of a sudden this guy drives by on a dirt bike and woofs at me. He's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa!" And I was like, "Oh, what's that?" And I casually turn, and we just meet eyes. And he's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa!" as he's staring me in the eyes, and I don't react. And then I kind of just see him like go back to normal and keep going. It's like he was trying to get a reaction out of me, but I didn't give him one. So he's just like, oh, okay.
All right, see ya. So chat's got our back. Eddie comes in and says Bobby Petrino is the guy.
You were pretty close timing with Bubbity Boobity.
Booby Dooby?
Yeah.
Boobity.
So I found the article. I wanted to make sure that I was getting the most legitimate sources possible. I was choosing between the New York Daily News and the Daily Mail. Daily Mail says Arkansas coach Bobby Petrino fired after hiring mistress, a 25-year-old, for cushy $55K job with football program, giving her $20K cash gift, and he forfeited $18 million bonus by getting fired. And it suggests that a horrific motorcycle crash that left Petrino in a neck brace is what revealed his affair with Jessica Dorrell after he ditched the bike into a ditch with her on the back of it. He is a 51-year-old man.
No takes backs.
51-year-old man married with 4 grown children.
Yeesh.
And she was engaged with a wedding scheduled in June, and she was 25 years old.
Great.
Way to go. No. Way to go, Bobby. There you go, Bobby.
I am glad that the motorcycle affair didn't come out of my brain and that was a real memory.
Oh, that's right. I was actually a little concerned that you had made that up. Part of me was concerned, like part of me was like, that's pretty cool that he's got a creative mind. Pretty dangerous. Pretty dangerous that your mind would think that was real, but no, it turns out that it was real.
Tommy said those tailpipes get real hot. Be careful.
Oh, Tommy, why didn't you know that?
And of course the Daily Mail had to put a picture of her fiance in here, just like this is the guy that gets cheated on with like a 50-year-old motorcycle coach. Like, you got to put his picture in there.
That's what it says on his business card. Bobby Petrino, 50-year-old motorcycle coach.
He has to get him new ones every year.
And it's just
just stays 50 forever.
It's got a picture of him on there with like a popped collar.
It actually says at least 50-year-old motorcycle coach.
At least 50. Yeah. He's picturing with the neck brace on there.
Neck brace and a leather jacket. He's like ready to ride.
That's his Tinder profile picture now.
A motorcycle with a neck brace would be really hard.
Where's the motorcycle's neck?
You don't want to know.
I love that these guys, like this guy must be a football genius, right? For him to do all this like horrible stuff, and then Texas A&M is like, well, he can't be our head coach, but maybe he could be our offensive coordinator.
If you just type in Bobby Petrino, God, poor, I hate laughing at the picture, but the picture of him in the neck brace at the press conference just looks so sad. Like in that moment, he's like, man, I really fucked up. He's like, I had it made. I had a great college football coaching job, a wife, 4 kids.
Whoops.
Oof. Yeah, that face just says, oops.
Well, good thing he was able to valiantly brace his fall with his face, apparently. There's a lot of pictures of him smiling in that neck brace. It's like, dude, you got a lot to smile about during that time period, huh?
He turned it around.
Bobo.
Speaking of tragic falls, with the Eagles' loss, Philadelphia becomes the first U.S. city to lose 3 major championships in the span of about 3 months. Someone on Reddit pointed this out. They lost the MLS Cup and the World Series on the same day, and then they just lost the Super Bowl as well. And still another one coming up relatively soon. The NBA Finals. If the Sixers make it there and lose, they can make it 4.
Yeah, too bad the Flyers suck. Because I'm really rooting for as much heartbreak as possible for these guys. Where's the Sixers are in
Sorry,
third.
Philly fans.
Sixers are in third place right now. Oh, what's that team that's in first place?
Is it the Celtics?
The Celtics? Where's that? Who are those guys, dude? Who are those fellas? Those ball playing boys.
I bet they choke in the playoffs anyways.
No, you don't say that.
Oh, okay, I understand that. We don't say that.
We don't say that.
We don't talk a lot of other sports, like you're saying. I'm the one that talks the most about other sports, and that's probably why my teams are all in first place right now.
That makes sense. Correlation always equals causation.
Yeah. Who are you? I don't even know what basketball teams you guys root for. Like, if you had to pick a basketball team, what's your guys'
Wizards?
How are you a Cavs fan? The Spurs are right there, dude.
I'm also a Spurs fan, but Cavs were the team I grew up cheering for, so I cheer for them first, and then a Spurs fan. And I'm a Spurs fan by proximity, but I'm not going to stand around and facade as a overwhelming Spurs fan. Know what I mean?
I was like a San Antonio enthusiast before moving there.
Yeah, you didn't jump fully on the bandwagon.
But I support them. I'm a team supporter. Yeah, Tom said the Globetrotters.
Good pick, dude. Yeah, I'm a fan of the other team that they always crush. What is it, like the Admirals?
I've seen the Globetrotters in person when I was a kid.
Were they performing, or you just saw them?
No, I just saw them.
I saw the Globetrotters. I've seen, not only have I seen them at a game, but I saw them get inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame. And they got up. Sweet. They got up there in their suits, and they were like, they did the
just always do the bit. They can't.
Yeah, they popped up there.
Do the bit. I feel like everywhere they go, they're gonna forever. It's just like, hey, do the thing.
Yeah, they got up there, did a little razzle dazzle. It was cool. Yeah. So you're a Bullets fan?
Yeah, I watched the Wizards. I was growing up. I don't follow it as much anymore, but
yeah. What basketball teams you guys in the chat like? Tommy likes the Globetrotters. What about you, Albert? Good morning, Albert. What's your basketball team? I want to know everybody's basketball team here. We never talk about basketball.
Good morning, Albert.
I will say the Spurs. One thing that I sucked about moving to San Antonio is that the Spurs had the longest active playoff streak in the NBA. They had not missed the playoffs in over 20 years until the very first year that I lived in San Antonio. And then they haven't made it since. The entire time I've lived here, the Spurs have missed the playoffs after making the playoffs for 20 plus years consecutively.
I'm not saying that.
I mean, it may have aligned with Tim Duncan and Greg Popovich no longer running that team, but
may have. I'm not saying correlation equals causation, but
I'm not saying
not saying it. Team was winning a lot of games before you showed up.
Pop.
And then all of a sudden, the Hawks started playing really well.
Left Atlanta. You're not wrong. Oh my god!
He's gone. Let's
you're on out. Something here.
I'm bad luck for what. Okay, so what city am I moving to next? Which NBA team needs a humbling?
Stay away from here. Go to LA, dude.
Go to LA.
No.
Denver. You know what? You would fit in well in Denver. I feel
because I got the hat that says Nuggets on it.
I think that's actually exactly why I thought that. Because you have that one Nuggets hat.
I feel like the Heat still needs to be punished for putting together that super team. So go to Miami, Simon.
For some reason, I forgot what we were talking about, and I took it as the Heat.
Abstract concept.
The abstract concept of the Heat needs to be punished. And I thought you were saying you have to stay in San Antonio because it's so hot there and you have to continue punishing that Heat.
Yeah, punish that Heat, Simon.
Spank it.
Did you know there are only 7 major sports teams across the 4 major sports whose name doesn't end in S? The Heat is one of them. Do you guys know?
Jazz.
The Jazz is another one.
That one came to me quick.
I'll give you a hint right now to stop your minds from going that way. There's every single NFL team ends in S.
Okay, cool. Thanks. I was going that way. Then I switched to hockey, trying to run through them.
So you got in chat. See if you can get some of these too. We're looking for 4 major sports. So hockey, football, baseball, basketball. Teams that don't end in S. They got the Heat and the Jazz so far.
Pelican, singular, if you take the S off.
That would be of all the singulars, just one Pelican would be one of the worst mascots. Pelicans is already pretty bad as is. We're the
specify
Pelican.
it's not in a flock.
We're
A
the
lone
nugget.
Pelican.
We're the Nugget. There's some teams. That would be another bad one. There's yeah, there you go. Craig just got a couple. Magic and Thunder. Wow, a lot of them are basketball teams. There's only two. Here, I'll give you another really good hint. There's two baseball teams, and when you get one, you'll get the other.
White Sox, Red Sox.
Bingo.
I thought of those, but it messed me up at first because the the X sound, the classic KS.
They both just decided to.
Oh, and we got a couple more in the chat. Tim with
the word sock. Oh, so there's actually 8 now. I totally forgot. This trivia question I've had for so long that comes from before the Kraken were a team. So now there are more teams. So Kraken, Lightning, Earndog with the Wild out of left field. Earndog's awake. Eat it, Keith. So Earndog, producer 1 today. He's P1. He moves into the P1 slot, and then there's one team left. And I'll give you guys a hint. It's a hockey team.
The
Ice Guys.
Blue Jackets. That ends with an S, damn it.
JL, if you're gonna make one up, why would you put an S at the end? Like if you could make anything up and you picked one that wouldn't actually fit the criteria, come on.
Yeah, no, that one's on me. That one's on me.
That's my bad.
Give us a geographic. Did we already said Lightning, right?
Yes. We've actually
Avalanche.
Yes, you got it, dude. The Avalanche.
What a cool mascot. Why doesn't the NFL have cool mascots like that?
Beat you, Tommy.
You're gonna go Commanders when there's Avalanche you could go with? You kidding me?
Yeah. Hockey's got all sorts of deadly natural disasters, right?
I saw
avalanche and hurricanes and tornadoes.
Penguin. Islander. Just a single Islander.
Just a single Islander. The Red Sock.
One
red sock.
Can't find
there was an article I saw the other day about the Chiefs team name and pressure for them to change it again, right? But I saw a comment underneath, like regardless of your opinion, I saw a comment underneath where I was like, oh, that would be sick. They said, leave the name the Chiefs. Their color is already fire engine red, and rebrand the team with like firefighter iconography, like firefighter logos, and they can be the Chiefs. So like a fire helmet. Wouldn't that be sick? Like if they had to rebrand,
that would be
like a
awesome.
Firefighting themed team would be unreal. That would be so
Dalmatian is the mascot.
Exactly. They could have it. Oh man.
They all come into the stadium with the fire poles, slide down from the dome.
The Fire Chiefs, dude. Yeah, a lot of sprained ankles sliding down the fire poles. But it's worth it.
Hey, if Clemson can run down a hill, the Chiefs can slide down a fire pole.
That's why I feel like they shouldn't have to change it, because like I don't know, Chief, the way they do it, it seems respectful. And maybe I'm out of line saying this, but like I don't know, it seems like they're building with Chief, you're like building them up. Like Chief is like a good thing. You know what I mean? Whereas like now you're just changing it to a different Chief. I don't know if I would want that. I would think
I leave that conversation to
leave it
exactly. You know what I mean? Like I am open to listening. If that is something that like is causing issues, then I want to listen to that. It's not my that's generally how I do it here.
True. Leave that to the people it affects. That's right. It's just I figured I would just give my like obviously the Washington Redskins, like that is borderline a slur. And that to me always had like a negative connotation to it. And also
I hear what you're saying.
Like with the Cleveland Indians, to me that the name felt neutral, but the mascot, when I saw it, I was like, this is offensive, right? Like, is it not? Chief Wahoo was pretty offensive mascot. But with Chiefs, again, it's up to them. But that one to me, it always felt like kind of being proud of it and building it up a little more. But,
you know what, Chief? I think you're right.
Chief. Call him the Chief. Bud.
Pal. Tim in here said Reed already looks like a fire captain. He does look a bit like a fire captain. Throw that hat on.
I could totally see him in one of those like fire captain like ponchos.
Oh my god. I just see him with like the ash on his face and like the suit unzipped a bit at the end, like coming out, and he's like, oh.
We saved your daughter. I don't have a daughter.
Well, you
would
got
say.
one now.
Yeah.
Found a girl in there. She's yours. I'm not taking her.
I don't even picture him actually like on the scene of any fire. I more picture him like at like the softball game where the firefighters play against the police, and he's just like,
This conversation about mascots reminded me of this tweet I saw yesterday. I wanted to get your guys' opinion on. It's from Sahil Bloom on Twitter. He said, important thought experiment. You're in an arena with 50 hawks, 10 crocodiles, 3 brown bears, 15 wolves, 1 hunter with a rifle, 7 buffalo, 10,000 rats, 5 gorillas, 4 lions. You can pick 2 to defend you. The others attack you. Goal is to survive 1 hour. Which do you pick and why?
That is a tough one.
I've thought about this a lot, JL. Like I've really spent a lot of time thinking about this. You sent it to me last night and you're like, wait, don't tell me. Save it. I've spent way too much time thinking about this. And I think the no-brainer for me, I got my answer. I'm taking the 5 gorillas and the 15 wolves. The intelligence of the gorillas, we can work together. We can collaborate. We can formulate a plan. And then wolves are pack animals. I'll be the leader. I'll be the leader of the wolf pack with my 5 gorillas as my henchmen, and then the 15 wolves running rampant. And I think the wolves can handle the rats while the gorillas are fending off the bears, the buffalo, or whatever other animal you put in there.
I don't think you can fend off 10,000 rats.
You got to have the rats on your team.
The rats seem like the obvious I can't think. The only thing that could beat the rats in this is the hawks, because they have the sky, the aerial advantage. The rest of these things, they're going to be overwhelmed by 10,000. Rats are absurdly strong. They can bite through metal. They're big too. So 10,000 of them.
You know what else is absurdly strong? A gorilla. One sweep of that arm, they're going to take out 100 rats.
It doesn't matter. There's 100 more right behind them that's filling in, because there's 10,000 rats.
That's what I mean. If like 100 rat, that's only 500
that's what
rats.
I'm saying. Yeah, you swipe 100 away. You still have 10,000 bearing down
so
on
each
you.
gorilla has to swipe 20 times. Done. Rats are gone, and the wolves are there helping out
without getting overwhelmed. And if that's assuming all the rats split evenly per gorilla versus going 1 gorilla at a time, and just eating them all.
The thing is,
numbers.
Here's the real problem with this thought exercise: is that you almost have to take the hunter on your team too.
I think that's the trap. I think one hunter is the trap. You think 1 bullet's even killing a single bear?
I don't know what I mean. Yeah, but it's not about killing the bear. It's about killing you, brother.
You're gonna kill yourself?
No, the hunter. If the hunter's on the other team, right, you have 2 to defend you, and the others attack you. The hunter's not attacking the hunter's just attacking you. So that hunter is just gonna creep around and shoot you in your face, dude.
I'm gonna send like 50 of my rats to go take out the hunter. He's done.
I mean, the thing is, we got to know what kind of arena this is. So if it's just flat and open, it's gonna be over pretty quick.
Especially with a hunter. He's got no tree.
The bell rings. Well, I'm just saying the bell rings and the hunter just shoots you and you're dead.
So I don't know if you know this, but it's a moving target is way more difficult to hit than you would think while being shot at. That's always the number one advice is if you're being shot at, just run. It's really hard to hit a moving target. You're probably not going to be nailed.
Some of these rifles are pretty easy to shoot. I'm not going to lie.
If I'm moving around, he's not, and it's a Coliseum-sized arena. I think I can avoid amongst the chaos of 5 bears, 10,000 rats, 50 eagles, 15 wolves, him locking in on me.
I got to know what kind of rifle this guy has too. If it's the rifle from Jumanji, right? That's you know what I mean? You got to stuff it like a musket, then yeah, sure. That's fine. Well, if it's one of some of these semi-automatic rifles, dude, with 30-shot clips, you're gonna be in big trouble. Everybody's gonna be in big trouble, in fact.
And there's nothing in between. It's either a single load musket or a semi-automatic rifle.
Exactly. I mean,
One Nation wants to know if you're hunting with your buddy, you have 1 bullet left and a grizzly is charging you. What do, Coop?
Take out your buddy.
You have 1 bullet left. Yeah, shoot.
Yeah, you turn and run.
How good is my buddy? Yeah.
Shoot your friend in the foot and run.
That's messed up. I was thinking take out your buddy so that they don't have to have the terrible death you do.
Oh no! So the bear gets them.
Just assume that we're both dying to this bear.
Yeah.
And Scott Fish said, I remember about 5 years ago, Bull Rush did a show discussing this with Elliot Christ. He went off. We're gonna have to find that.
Yeah, we did. We constantly have this discussion in one Dynasty League group chat for some reason. That's why I tagged Meat Mansion in that JL, because Meat Mansion, he seems confident that he would win a fight with a wolf one-on-one. How do you guys feel about that?
With no weapons?
Just you versus wolf one-on-one.
Oh, there's no chance.
Hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah, there's not a chance.
It's not a high chance.
Yeah.
I mean, is the wolf paralyzed? Then I can get it. Like, and even then, I'm not sure I have like the physical capabilities of like killing it. Know what I mean? Like,
I think you could probably take out a wolf if you hit it the right way, but it's gonna be hard.
These bad boys can get pretty big, dude. These wolves.
My sister's ex-boyfriend had a wolf dog that was just like part wolf from like generations and generations ago. And that thing was horse-sized. Like that thing was like this tall and terrifying.
Oh, Scottfish says, I grew up with wolves in my backyard nightly. Okay, well, Scottfish, do you think that one-on-one you versus a above average wolf?
Scottfish is pretty tall.
He says, I don't think I've seen lone wolf without others nearby. Yes, they fight in packs. But if you were to separate one from the rest of them,
assume that they all respect the no. This one's Jeremy's.
I got this. Yeah, like in the movies, I got this. We all have automatic weapons, but I'm gonna fight this guy one-on-one.
Don't intervene.
Yeah, there you go. Scott says 0 chance, dude. Me Mansion is so confident that his team name in our Dynasty League is Big Dick Wolf Slayer. which I will admit is a great team name, but still, it's not happening. Meat Mansion.
Wolves are so big. Like
they're huge, bro. They're
so like whatever size you're imagining for a wolf, just about double it, and that's probably how big a wolf is. Like imagine your dog,
Clifford.
If you got like a lab, double it in size. There's a wolf. Probably closer to Clifford than whatever's in your living room at home right now. People listening. There's something in your living room. Run. And it's smaller than a wolf. There's something smaller than a wolf in your living room. I bet if one of us could take a wolf out of everyone that comes on this show, it's Tim. Tim can beat a wolf.
Yeah, because it would just think he's one of them. I feel like Tim was raised by wolves.
I think they would just mutually agree to not fight. They would just ride off in the distance fighting some sort of force.
You see Tim emerging from the woods riding a wolf. Somehow it has a saddle and reins.
All 5 of the other ones show up to surround him. He's now their leader.
They're all wearing tank tops and
and headbands.
And headbands, yeah. You beat me to it.
In that case, the wolf I would choose.
Their earbuds.
The wolf I would choose to fight is Tim.
You won't be able to take him.
Not saying I'd win, but I'm just saying if all the wolves out there I'm fighting, I'd pick Tim instead of the ones with like the vice grip jaws.
Guys, coming up, we're gonna play some games today. We've got some word association, and then we're gonna play the Weddle, try to keep our streak alive. We've got some vague descriptions coming your way, as well as a food genre bracket. We're gonna play some Quotey McQuote face as well, and then some Moreau You Know. I see Meat Mansion in the chat coming in saying, heard y'all needed a lion tamer. I got a vice grip.
Big D Wolf Tamer.
We got that Big D Wolf Slayer himself in the chat.
There he is, dude.
Guys, we'll be right back here on the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Moose and Keith, weekdays at 10 a.m. Eastern on Better Sports Network.
Baby J just wrote in the chat as we went to break that Nick Sirianni is the most punchable face in the NFL.
I think
I don't see it.
Well, yeah, I think people are bothered, and you saw the Giants bothered by the fact of how he was acting and his antics. And I'm growing a little tired of Kayvon Thibodeau on social media. Everybody
he's bothering me a little bit.
Well, everybody that criticizes Kayvon Thibodeau, he's basically he basically tells you, I don't know who you are, whether it be Jeff Saturday or whether it be Joe Staley.
Yeah.
Julian Love last week going on Good Morning Football on the NFL Network and saying Sirianni's in for a free ride. Just look how talented that team is. Well, I mean, that's I think it's a little unfair if you're a Giant or you're a member or you are a fan of the Giants. You went in there on that Saturday night and you got embarrassed.
Doesn't it feel like sour grapes, right? Like it just feels like
you
guys beat me up, so now I'm just going to try to find a way to beat you down.
So, and if you're Kayvon Thibodeau, enough, shut up. I mean, you're on social media. Enough with the fact that anybody that rips you or criticizes you or going out there and saying or ripping the 49ers who didn't have a quarterback in the NFC Championship game and saying, well, we could have done a better job than what San Francisco is doing. Well, they didn't have a quarterback. And then Joe Staley calls them out. And then I got to have Michael Strahan tag teaming and jumping in and, and ripping Joe Staley. The fact that Michael Strahan got 2.5 sacks on him during his rookie year where Joe Staley was critical of what Kayvon Thibodeau did this year. I mean, are we serious here?
Yeah, that's what we're doing here.
I mean, this is really what it's coming down to. I mean, why not hold the young man accountable and say, no, listen, zip it. Enough. Like you don't need to comment on everything, nor do I care. Yeah. You're not Micah Parsons. You're not Lawrence Taylor. You're none of those
But
things.
he thinks he is.
Well, but that's the problem. He's not.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not. And I would say he has a long way to go.
And maybe he becomes one of the best. He could.
I mean, it's possible. Do I think he's ever going to be Micah Parsons? I don't.
I don't. He's talented.
He's talented. I'm not telling you he's not going to have a successful NFL career. But everybody that criticizes him, he says, I don't know who you are. Well, why don't you look up and have for the men that played in this league before you and what they accomplished in this league? That the league didn't start the day that you stepped foot in the National Football League. And sometimes there's reasons why people are going to go out there. And if you're going to make comments as stupid as he did in the NFC Championship game, you understand that you're going to get called out for it. And if you get called out for being dopey, don't all of a sudden respond with, I don't know who you are.
Moose and Keith, weekdays at 10 a.m. Eastern on Better Sports Network.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. We got Hal in the chat with a great morning, everyone. Some Tony the Tiger.
Great morning, Hal.
Morning, Hal. Good to see you, my friend.
I'm disappointed in mascots like Tony the Tiger because I feel like they got way more bark than bite. Like they're way more show than substance. Like for such a large, cartoonish tiger, he really has limited personality. What, he just likes Frosted Flakes? Same with the Geico Gecko. Like you have a talking lizard and you're going to make him that boring. His biggest personality trait is he has an accent. Tony the Tiger and the Geico Gecko do better. The Affleck Duck has more personality than both of you, and all he says is Affleck.
What, like, we don't really get a lot of behind the scenes. I mean, what mascots do you think they do a good job of that with?
Toucan Sam, great mascot. He's got personality. Like if we're just talking cereal, there's some heavy hitters in the cereal world.
Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs guy. I mean, he's dealing with some stuff, but still, he's authentic. He's real.
Count Chocula.
There you go. There's another one. The Tricks Rabbit. That's a great one. Hal's got that one in there. Flo from Progressive. We can even get away from the animated. Flo from Progressive. Bursting with personality.
I feel like they always told the Tricks Rabbit he couldn't have tricks, but for some reason he always ended up getting them. They would like let him have some at the very end. Is that a weird memory, or did they actually?
I feel like they did not. I feel like they always grabbed it from him at the last second.
Yeah.
I felt like they always grabbed it from him, and then they would be like, "Silly rabbit, tricks are for kids." But then at the very end, they were kind of like, "All right, you can have some." Or am I misremembering
that was just like your coping mechanism for them being mean to this rabbit.
Did they never like? Why can't he have them? And did they ever actually get? Maybe they never did give him any.
In elementary school, there was a kid who would always bring snacks to Coop's lunch and would share them with everybody else except for Coop. They would smack him from his hands. And whenever he watched the Tricks commercials, he added his own little ending, just like at school. He would sit there.
I like Coop. Snacks aren't for poor kids. And I'd be like, well, what if the rabbit? It's like, didn't the rabbit get some at the end of the Tricks commercial?
George said Tricks Rabbit is a jerk, and Jay said, I don't know the context, but I have to say Grimace.
Was he even a jerk? Yeah, Grimace is always the answer.
He's a good mascot.
Is he though? I don't think he is.
I don't think he is. You guys want to get into some Weddle?
Yeah.
Keep our
let's do
streak
it.
alive.
Let's do it.
Don't jump out of your seats. Are we nervous that we're going to lose it?
I said, yeah, let's do it. And then no one responded.
Yeah, I'm ready. I was
Okay.
doing something
JL,
weird with Grimace.
you got the first player guess today. Which player you want to go with? And a reminder for everybody watching, play along with us. This is at weddlegame.com. How this works is it's a lot like the game Wordle. We're going to be guessing NFL players, and it's going to give us some information about what's correct about it. The team, the division, their height, their number, things like that. John Luke, where are we starting today?
Let's start with Olave.
Chris Olave. I like it. Chris Olave. Oh, and my game just crashed whenever I typed it in. So
also
Same.
immediately.
New
And
player.
that is not loading for me. Well, I
The
bet Chris
website
Olave was a really good guess, JL.
The website was not prepared for 3 people to type in the name at the same time.
Maybe.
We just
Maybe.
equivalent of DDoS attack them, but
I think we might
here
have,
on the
It's not
on the
even
Friday
loading
Fantasy
anymore for
Morning
me.
Show. Yeah, maybe we're not playing Weddle. George said mine's not loading either.
In fact, it's making my video all choppy. What do we do?
Yeah, I'm
Stall.
gonna have to close that.
Dog, play a video.
No, we'll just skip the Weddle. We'll have to come back to that at some point. I think it was George who came in the chat. Yes, another mascot that's a disappointment, the Raisin Bran sun. It's a sun, and it just wears sunglasses. That's all it does. That's the whole thing.
Yeah. It doesn't even say anything, does it?
It just
Raisin Bran
says-
is quite literally the most boring. It's the most boring cereal of all time. So that's a perfect mascot. In fact, it's a little too exciting for how boring of a cereal that is.
Can you imagine how terrifying it would be if the sun, if you looked up and it legitimately had a scoop of raisins and then you just saw them falling from the sky down to earth, little raisin asteroids.
Little raisin asteroids. I can't imagine that.
Asteroisins.
Raisins.
That could be a different thing entirely.
Yeah.
Now Scott Fish, the California raisins. Now those boys were cool, right? You guys remember those commercials with the raisins with the sunglasses and they were like singing and dancing?
No.
Never heard of them.
What, dude? Are you guys kidding me? Those guys were awesome,
I've never seen a raisin dance in my life.
bro. That's what. Wait, so you guys don't remember the California raisins? Look, Google them right now. You don't remember these guys singing and stuff? I feel like they had a Super Bowl commercial at some point.
Oh, those guys were terrifying. The gross little, like, wrinkly sack-shaped guys.
Sack-shaped guys. dude.
Ugh.
Awesome.
I mean, honestly, a raisin made bigger is disgusting, right? Like, we only don't think it's gross to look at because it's so little. If a raisin was human sized, that would be so gross to look at.
there were a lot of things that if you mess with the sizes would be quite horrifying. Like the praying mantis, if that was like human size, terrifying, dude.
I would like it.
It's
Since Weddle isn't working, you guys want to play some word association?
My Weddle is actually working.
It is working now?
Yeah, mine's up.
Yeah, mine just reloaded as well.
Oh shoot, let's play Weddle then.
Let's get in there.
Weddle.
Chris Olave, the position is correct and the age is close. That's the information we have. So we know that he's a wide receiver, and they are 23 or 24 years old, and they are in the AFC.
So
we know
Shorter
player.
than 6'1".
For other info, we know they're
Significant.
shorter than 6'1". We know his number is higher than 12. So
Little guy.
Little guy. Who's
Guy.
the little guy?
Drake-
5'11"?
Drake London's too tall. Or Hal guessed Drake London in the chat. He's definitely too tall. We need the
And he's in the AFC.
Sky
Right.
Moore's a little guy, and might be too young is the only thing, but he might be 23 or 24. He was at a smaller school. I don't know if he was an early declare. He's in the AFC. He's shorter than 6'1". I don't know his number.
why do I feel like he's
Guy
a single
Moore is
digit
like
number?
7?
Yeah, I feel like I'm
Um,
visualizing him with a single. No, because Jill, I feel like you said 20 something during the game. You're like, who's 20 something? Oh, it's Sky Moore.
Maybe.
What about so it's nobody on the Patriots because the Patriots don't. The only young wide receiver they have is Tyquan Thornton. He's 20. He's over 6'2". Or he is 6'2".
So this guy's
maybe-
Taekwon
5'10"
Thornton's
or
6'2".
shorter.
Taekwon Thornton is 6'2", ran a literal 100th percentile 40-yard dash. He ran like a 4.27, and he went in the second round of the NFL draft just because
In my
he went to
head, he's a little guy.
No, he's 6'2". He's 6'2", ran a 4.27, and got drafted in the second round. But because he got drafted by the Patriots, he can't possibly be good in Dynasty. That's the narrative on Taekwon Thornton. If any other team drafted him in the second round, we'd be like fawning over this guy. But because New England drafted him, he's trash.
Hey, show us what he got.
Yeah.
You
There
know,
you go.
I,
as soon as he shows it, I feel like people are going to be like, yeah, okay.
There you go. Yeah, but no, because he's on the Pats. Nope, dust, toast. He's dust and he's toast. Okay.
I think Sky Moore's a good guess here. And I see Jay in the chat saying Moore's 24. So then the age would be correct there.
Get him in there. Get him in there.
The number is the only thing I'm unsure of, but let's see. Okay. Oh, he's 22 as well. But the team is correct. The division is correct. The position is correct. The height is correct. The age, they're 23 or 24. And then the number, his number is 24. So it's lower than 24 and higher than 12.
No, what's is it
Justin Watson?
Marquez?
Marquez is
Justin
tall. Marquez Valdez
He's like
is a big guy.
He's 6'4".
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Juju, but Juju, didn't we just guess Juju?
Juju's
yesterday?
tall.
Wasn't that yesterday?
But he's
Dude,
not
wasn't
tall, but he's
Kadarius
taller than
Toney the
5'10".
answer to yesterday's?
What'd you say?
It was,
Coop?
it was another
what-
Chiefs wide receiver yesterday.
Yesterday's was a Chiefs wide receiver.
Who was it?
Tony.
It was Kadarius Toney.
Kadarius
So,
Toney.
either they didn't reset it and it's Kadarius
astronaut.
Toney again, or it's Juju.
Is Juju
They
5'10"?
I think Justin Watson's too tall.
I'll take one for the team here with the. I'll see if it's Tony again. Wait, should I have done that?
No, because we should all do the same one to keep it honest, right?
no, you should-
Otherwise,
well,
we're getting extra information.
Just tell us
All
if
right,
it's
I'm
Toney.
hitting X.
Yeah, that doesn't work.
I already put
somehow it
Kadarius
knows.
Toney in to keep it even, so that we
No.
all have the same guesses there. So shorter than 6 foot, we know that number. Lower than 19, but the number is 17 or 18 because it's close to 19. Is Juju's number 17 or 18?
Juju's number 9. He's like 8 or 9. He has a low number. He has
Nicole?
a single-digit number.
That's what George in the chat says. Mecole.
It'd be Mecole Hardman. I think we're out of other options. It's either Mecole or Justin Watson, right?
Yeah, or Cornell Powell.
Or Cornell Powell. Where do we want to start?
Go Mecole Hardman. They wouldn't put Cornell Powell, or maybe they would.
It is Mecole Hardman. Mecole Hardman is correct.
Nice.
4 tries.
It should have been
Chiefs wide
3.
receiver in
It
a
should have
row.
been gone. It should have been 3.
Yeah,
We
I
should
goofed
not
it up
have-
again.
You done fudged it.
I done fudged it.
So our record is still 3. Yeah, Juju is 9. Okay, I knew he was 8 or 9. I just seen him on the TV like a couple days ago.
Meat
There's a
Mansion wants to
football
know.
game.
Meat Mansion wants to know. Did you say meat hole or meat hole?
Sorry, Meat Man.
Meat
Right?
Him, everything's a meat hole.
Meat hole on that one, Meat Man. The Meat Man Wolf Slayer. All right, not too bad.
Good work, guys. Nailed
Hold
it.
on.
We're gonna get into one of these times. The record's 3 for us, right?
I think so. I think 3 is the shortest amount of guesses that we've needed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we're going to get into our next game here called Vague Descriptions. For those of you who have not played this with us before, this is a game where our contestants are going to be given a vague description of something in a category, and they have to guess correctly what it is, or their opponent can steal. We'll alternate who's going first on this one. Whoever has the most points at the end of this game will be our Vague Descriptions champion. You guys ready?
Yeah. All right, boys. Who wants to go first this time?
After you, Coop.
Me.
All right, Simon, you are going first in this
Yeah,
game of vague
I figured that was
descriptions.
Classic.
Oh, but I'm going to play along in the chat. If you think you know the answer to these, throw them in the chat. I'm going to close it, so I won't be cheating off of you guys, but throw them in there.
I'm gonna leave mine open and cheat.
Okay, cool.
That's cool.
My
Simon, you were going first.
anti-cheat tech. See my screen?
Beautiful. Beautiful anti-cheat tech there. All right, Simon, here's your first vague description. Remember, I'm going to give you a category and a vague description. You have to tell me what the correct answer is. If you get it wrong, Coop will have the opportunity to steal that from you. Your first vague description, Simon, the category is a place. The vague description is America's dongle.
America's dongle. Okay, like there's an obvious one that comes to mind, but I feel like there's a couple that it could be. And when I think dongle, I usually think on top. Like you're dongling something like this. You're not dongling something like this, but that's what Florida would be. But I'm going to go with Florida. Florida is America's dongle, and this is you dongle it down low.
Florida is correct, Simon. Well done.
Boom.
Well
Michigan
done.
could have been the dongle up there.
It could have been.
Do you know what a dongle is?
It's like a dongle.
It's a dongle.
I had a USB dongle. Yeah, like I know.
That's what it is. Yeah, the USB thing. That's the dongle.
I don't think dongle has to be USB, right? There just are USB dongles. Like I think a dongle can exist without a USB.
Yeah, that's just a type of dongle.
That's the only way I know. It's a dongle says a small device able to be connected to and used with computer, especially to allow access to wireless broadband or use of protected software.
Sounds just like Florida.
Sounds just
it's kind of a dongle.
But you got there, right? Like it makes sense. Florida's kind of America's dongle.
I would have got it right away.
I used to have a dongle to connect my Nintendo DS to the home Wi-Fi because there was something with our Wi-Fi settings that wouldn't allow you to do it without a special Nintendo branded dongle.
Really? I did not know that.
It was dumb.
I don't know that I had that one.
It was dumb. No, it wasn't everybody's Wi-Fi. It was like our Wi-Fi.
Oh, I see. All right, Simon, that's going to give you 1 point. Well done. You start this game off well. Coop, you're up next.
All right.
Your category is movie.
Okay.
And your vague description is man gets experimental procedure after a confusing breakup.
Man gets experimental procedure after confusing breakup.
This is interesting. I feel like there's a couple different ways this could
there's
go.
a few, dude.
Man gets experimental procedure after
George in the chat said dongle is like an adapter.
Is this
dongle?
Dongle.
Is this a movie we were talking about the other day? Is this Flubber?
This is not Flubber. Coop. Sorry, Simon. You have the opportunity to steal this.
There's two movies that are in my head. Is this Big with Tom Hanks?
This is not Big with Tom Hanks.
Okay.
Good movie though. Coop, I'll give you an opportunity for redemption here.
Okay. Experiment. Okay. Confusing breakup. Then he has an experimental procedure.
Which word is the?
Yeah, I think what confusing feels like.
I'm trying to figure out which word is the hidden meaning is in. Like, where is the vague description giving me a little bit of a clue?
That is kind of the way to play this game.
It really is. This, we got to find the black swan there in the sentence. Is it? So I want to say confusing breakup is the thing, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna go with click.
Anything.
Click
is not correct. Simon, last chance.
Doctor Strange.
Forget I was going to call on you. Doctor Strange is incorrect.
Can I take one more guess?
Yeah.
Was it the 40-year-old virgin and this is him waxing his chest? I can't remember if there was a breakup there.
This is not the 40-year-old virgin. That's a good guess. This is Eternal Sunshine on the Spotless Mind.
Oh.
Yes, Tim in the chat got it. Hal got it almost immediately. Sunshine on the Spotless Mind. Well done. George said Face Off.
A confusing breakup.
Does he have a breakup in that one?
I don't know.
I watched it when I was like 7, probably.
Great film, though.
Great film. So nobody's going to get points for that one. Yeah. Sorry about that.
I have never seen that movie.
Should I watch it? Wow, really, Simon? You've never seen that movie? Yeah, you should absolutely watch it. It's actually one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah, I've never seen it. I'll give it a gander.
It's very good. You would probably like it too, just the style of it.
Take a peek.
All right. Let's get into our next vague description here. The game 1-0. Simon, you are in the lead.
Yes.
Chad is winning as always.
Chad's undefeated.
Chad is undefeated. Simon, your category is
movies.
Football.
Yeehaw!
Is football. And your vague description is permanently withdrawing.
Say that again.
Permanently withdrawing.
Permanently withdrawing. Retirement or retiring.
That is correct, Simon. Well done. Well done.
Did you see what JJ Watt said about Tom Brady's permanent withdrawing?
No.
Tom Brady, they were like, somebody was like, Tom Brady officially filed the paperwork, meaning that he is retired and eligible for the Hall of Fame. And JJ Watt like retweeted that, and he's like, I didn't know that there was a bunch of paperwork to do, but I'm retired too. Yeah, I didn't do any of that, but I'm retired too.
He's like, I'm sure if they need it, they'll take care of it.
He just wanted to make sure to get that out there. He's like, I'm eligible for the Hall of Fame too, just so you know. I didn't do any of that paperwork, but come on now.
Let me in.
All right. The score 2-0. Coop. What's going on, man?
You gave me an impossible movie, and then you gave him an obvious.
I don't know. Tim got it in the chat.
Tim did get it in the chat.
Tim's just such a super smart genius, isn't he? The friend of wolves.
Friend of the wolves. Friend of demons. Enemy of Kirk Cousins. Tim Wright.
He doesn't like Kirk either?
No, but he's in the haunted house. He was torturing him with the demons.
That's right. I forgot about
Kirk
that.
doesn't like him.
All right, Coop.
I'm ready.
Your next vague description here. Category is football.
Yes.
Prompt. Vague description is taking it one thing at a time.
Taking it one thing at a time. Okay. I'm gonna say, is this play-by-play?
This is play-by-play.
Yeah.
Nice pull.
I'm back, baby.
I would not have gotten that one.
Look out,
I
Simon.
don't think I would have either. How did you get to play-by-play?
You know what's crazy? It was the very first thing that popped in my head, and I was like, that can't be it. So then then after a couple of seconds, I realized my brain wasn't going to find anything else. So I just had to say that. That's how it works. Yeah.
I was going to say Ronald Jones, just a little bit at a time.
You said like one thing at a time. And I was like, in my mind, I was like, we're taking it day by day. And I was like, play by play.
And I was like, what running back averages 1 yard per carry?
And it couldn't be
Jones.
Ronald Rojo.
Ronald Jones.
Hey, that's 2-time Super Bowl champion Ronald Jones to you.
That's true. I meant to bring this up in BYOB. Did you guys see Melvin Gordon talking about him being he's like, yep, I'm a winner. Because he's on the Chiefs.
Yeah. The funny thing is some of Jack's also I think it was either DF Bean Counter or Jack's Fucking, I forget which one it was, but one of them pointed out, they were like, the Chiefs know how you get it done. You have to load up on running back draft capital. And then he posted the draft picks of all the running backs on the team, where it was like Clyde Edwards-Helaire, first round, Ronald Jones, first round, Melvin Gordon, first round. They had 3 first-round RBs on the squad. So, and then their leading
rusher, Isaiah Pacheco was the best running back.
7th round, Isaiah Pacheco leads the team. Classic.
That's awesome.
Brutal. We had Joey said, I missed a movie question. I was buying my mom flowers.
Boo. Happy Valentine's Day, Joey's mom. That wasn't a boo for you, just for Joey.
Oh, that was for Valentine's Day.
We're booing Joey, but not his mom.
Yes.
Well, that'd be clear.
Yeah. We never boo Joey's mom here. Never. All right, guys. The game is tight. Simon's up 2. Coop has 1. This one is Simon's. Simon, your category is football. Your vague description is karate move.
Chop block, or just a chop.
Chop block is correct, Simon.
Yeah.
Well done.
That's a
tough one too. You guys are impressing me.
We've done this before.
I will say I just recently rewatched that video that I've talked about on the show before, the Redneck Ninja. So all them chops were fresh on my mind. You remember that? You got yourself your ninja chop, your Judy chop, and your karate chop. Do you remember that video?
No.
He said, looks like an ordinary can of tobacco. No, says I, Ninja Star. And
Ninja Star. Yeah.
I'll have to check that out. Is it West Virginia Ninja? Is that it?
Maybe. I don't remember. That probably is it. But That was maybe like the most quoted YouTube video at my high school. The redneck ninja. Your ninja star.
A ninja star.
I'll check it.
Hal in the chat said kickoff for that last one. Good guess.
Pretty good. Yeah, I like that.
Pretty good guess. All right, Coop. This next one is yours. The category is football.
Yes. Love football.
The vague description is you'll need one of these if you're a professional cereal eater.
Need one of these if you're a professional cereal eater.
This is awful.
The spoon. Well, let's see. Spoon, milk, bowl. Dude, is this Super Bowl?
This is not Super Bowl. Simon, you can steal this.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. I was going to say Super Bowl.
Jeez, dude. Oh, I think I might know.
If you're a professional, professional. That's the clue. Pro Bowl. You need a Pro Bowl, not an amateur bowl if you're going to be a professional cereal eater.
That is correct, Simon. Pro Bowl is the right answer.
Well, that just means I'm a super cereal eater.
Super cereal eater. That's a good guess, though, Coop. Super Bowl.
That was where I went as well,
Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And Tommy said Pro Bowl in the chat. He got it.
Tommy, you are so goddamn smart.
Gosh dang smart. All right. That brings the score to 4-1. Right, Simon, you got that one right?
Yes, indeed, I did.
Yeehaw.
We got another one?
We got one more.
This is worth 4.
You guys ready?
Let's do it.
All right, your category is
who is this for?
This one, Simon went first, so this one's Coop's.
No, I just went first on the last one. Because I guess Super Bowl that he got it.
Oh, that's right. You guys got it wrong. So that is the end of the game then.
No.
Hey,
Simon, you win.
Coop.
Congratulations.
Thank you,
Yeehaw.
guys.
May I be the first to congratulate you.
I really appreciate it. And thanks for letting me win so much so far this week. It's been really great for my self-confidence. Coming up, guys, we have got a food genres bracket that we're going to be doing. Quotey McQuote face after that, and then we're going to teach you a little bit in the Moreau You Know. So stick around. This is the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis, presented by FantasyAlarm.com.
Before the year, I said the Eagles were going to win the NFC East. I don't know if you remember that. I am a Cowboys fan. I do hate the Eagles. But anyone who has listened to me over the years knows that I can be objective. So I tweeted out, has there ever been a team that has an easier path to the Super Bowl than Philadelphia? Of course, the Eagles fans got on me. And I wasn't really alluding to the regular season. I know the tweet could be taken that way. But when you look at this playoff path, they had a first-round bye. Then they beat the Giants, okay? But anyone who was being reasonable, especially with Jalen Hurts, knew the Giants were not in the class of Philadelphia. Then you get to the NFC Championship game where the quarterback got hurt early in the game. And then the fourth-string quarterback, Josh Johnson, leaves with a concussion. And then they couldn't pass the ball. That's your path to getting to the Super Bowl. It doesn't mean that I'm saying the Eagles suck. I never said that. People are so sensitive. Anyone who's listened to me all year, I have given this team props. But the fact is they had an easy path. And like, well, they destroyed both teams. They did. Now the 49ers are good. And then someone's like, oh, well, they beat your Cowboys. Who did I pick to win last week? San Francisco, right? I picked San Francisco to beat Dallas. I didn't want that to happen, but I'm analyzing the game. I despise the Yankees. Anyone who knows me knows that. I had every Yankee starting pitcher on a fantasy roster last year. Every one of them. This year, the Superflex draft that we did, an industry draft, I took Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith, Saquon Barkley, Daniel Jones, Kadarius Toney. And people afterward, you a Giants fan? No, bro. I want to win. It doesn't matter what team they're on. I don't care. I want to win. Do I despise those teams? Yes. But I want to win. If I feel they're the best fit for my fantasy team, I'm going to draft them. If I feel a bet is going to win and I hate that team, I'm going to bet it. It's about winning. It's about helping people make money. We all have that little bias in us, no doubt. But I will say this, I'm being honest. I hope Philadelphia gets smoked in the Super Bowl, okay? I am rooting for Kansas City. My man Patrick Mahomes, dad played for the Mets. but I will analyze the game objectively, okay? Because I want the Eagles to lose. That doesn't mean I'm picking Kansas City. I'm going to analyze the game because I'm going to look at it as if I'm putting my money down. So it has nothing to do with that. And I don't know why people automatically, oh, you're a Cowboys fan, this and that. Well, yeah, I see your stupid avatar that you're an Eagles fan. You're clearly biased. Can we just agree that their path was easy? It doesn't diminish that they're in the Super Bowl. I didn't say they suck. I didn't say they don't deserve to be there. I just said the path was easy, and I don't think that's factually incorrect. And I didn't mean it for the regular season. I know it could be interpreted that way. Did they have great wins? No, but you know what? It doesn't matter. They were 14-3. They beat everyone they're supposed to beat. You know, they lost 2 games without Jalen Hurts. It's not discrediting them.
The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis, presented by FantasyAlarm.com. Weekdays at 5 Eastern on Better Sports Network.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. We're about to get into a food genres bracket, a bracket of different types of cuisine around the world, ones that we're familiar with. We'll put them head-to-head in competitions, vote on them, and then determine which one's going to move on to the next round until we have one that reigns supreme and is the champion, undisputed, undebatable, via the science of brackets. You guys ready?
Excited. This one I feel like is going to get heated.
I think so. People have strong takes here, strong opinions. Food gets touchy. Here's the 8 different types of fare that we're going to be talking about. We got Italian food. We have Chinese food. We have Mexican food. We have Indian food. We have pub fare. So think of like American bar food. We've got Korean food, Mediterranean food, and Cuban food. So those are the 8 different categories, the 8 different genres. If we want to do a substitution, if there's something missing, we can throw it in there.
We could. I think but we don't need to.
But we don't need to. But if there was one, like the last one I put in there was Cuban food. If we want, like that was the 8 seed. If
I'm
you
trying to
guys
think
have
if there's a more obvious one, or there's a more well shared one than Cuban, or more. Yeah, that more people have tried. Because I don't know if a ton of people have tried.
Japanese food in there with like
hibachi.
sushi.
Yeah, Japanese sushi. Yeah, that's a good one. You could just put Japanese, maybe.
Yeah, we'll just put Japanese in there.
I do like
sushi and hibachi.
I do like Cuban food. There's a Cuban restaurant near my old apartment that was awesome. Yeah, I agree that we got to go with something that more people have dabbled in. And Hal asking a good question. Are we talking about the American versions of these or the ethnic cuisines, or maybe however you want to
all-encompassing, I would say.
Yeah,
all-encompassing.
Yeah, if your exposure to Chinese food is Panda Express, you haven't been to China, that's your exposure to Chinese food. Know what I mean? And that's what we're talking about when we talk about here. And Tim said get Japanese food in there as well. We got Japanese food in there now.
Some of these matchups are brutal, bro. At first I thought the matchups were brutal, and then I just realized I like them all. So I'm just like, this is tough.
Even the first one is brutal. For the very first match, we've got Italian food versus pub fare. Coop, we're going to give you the first vote here. Where are you going? Italian food or that classic bar food?
I think a lot of us, when we it's crazy how impressive Italian food is when you think of like, I'm going to get a fancy dinner. A lot of time you're thinking of an Italian place. But also if you're thinking, I'm going to get a quick dinner, you're thinking, if you're thinking pizza, right? Or if you're thinking, let's do a home cooked meal, you might think spaghetti and meatballs. Like Italian food is huge in this country, but I'm not gonna lie to you guys. There's something about pub food that I just love. There's something about a nice basket of chicken fingers and fries with a beer, right? Or like some potato skins, or a club sandwich. But the real winner that I have to go with here, the number one that takes the cake, and everyone has their favorite foods or whatever, but somewhere on the list, you have to have the good old-fashioned American cheeseburger. USA.
I missed it.
Gotta go with pub food here. I respect. This is one where I look at this category, and it's like this recent Super Bowl. Chiefs versus Eagles. Like I just respect the opponents are too great. They've earned it, so I respect the outcome either way. Whether you guys vote Italian, I'm not going to sit here and say that's a bad pick either way. But I got to pick pub food myself.
Pub food for Coop. John Luke.
George in the chat said 2 Giants first round. Wow. Yeah.
It is.
I think all these matchups are going to be pretty good. Italian food or pub fare. Here's the thing. Coop, you hit the nail on the head. Italian food is just so versatile. You can eat Italian food at the pub while you're watching games. Get yourself a flatbread. Get yourself a pizza.
Hey.
Get yourself some fries, some meatballs. It's all pub fare. So Italian food is already encroaching on pub fare's domain here. And so I think it's the obvious choice. It's got to be Italian food.
It's 1-1. This one is so freaking hard for me because Coop, I'm like you. I'm a sucker for a basket of chicken tenders and French fries. Like you throw that in front of me, there's hardly things that I want to order more. I have to use willpower at restaurants to be like, don't just always get the chicken tenders. Like try other things. That being said,
that was my one kryptonite before vegetarianism. It's chicken tenders.
God, it's so good. Every time I eat pizza, I get violently and painfully ill. I have explosive diarrhea. And you know what? I still eat pizza.
We just lost on a Coop.
I said it one time and moved on. It wasn't a joke. It's just the reality of what it is, guys. This is the evidence for Italian food. I continue to eat it. Fettuccine Alfredo, I know the damage that's going to do to my body, yet I still choose to eat it. If I'm willing to do that for a genre of food, it has to be elite. I'm voting for Italian food.
Let's go.
Pub fare.
Committing self-harm. Kevin Tompkins says chicken parm in all caps, which chicken parm itself, Italian food, but like chicken parm sub, that's kind of pub food territory now. So
that's what I'm saying. It's encroaching.
Chicken
but it's
parm,
still, you can't say that's pub fare over Italian because it's definitely more Italian than pub fare. But it's close.
George says I can probably eat pizza every day. And
me too.
Not wrong, dude.
And Tim, I laughed whenever Jail said that, and then we just kind of scooted over it. Tim wasn't in jail. Did you just say fries are Italian?
No,
French. You said Italian. You were like, you're like.
No, I did not say that they are Italian. I'm saying that you can get fries at Italian restaurants.
The way you phrased it, though, you were like, Italian food's
though?
encroaching all over pub fare. You got pizza, you got a flat
fries,
you got fries, you got meatballs.
I stand by it.
And classic Italian food, French fries, fries from France.
I feel like French fries are more Italian than probably some of the food, like Chinese foods are Chinese.
Yeah, well, okay. I think that's fair.
You're probably right. Well, guys, Italian food's going to move on in a brutal first-round matchup. Our next matchup is Korean food versus Mexican food. JL, you've got the first vote here.
Korean food versus Mexican food. Korean food is man, it got a tough matchup. Mexican is my favorite food genre of all time. Maybe I'm giving it away here in the first round, but Mexican food, the best. Korean food's good. Don't get me wrong, but it's no Mexican.
Mexican food moving on for JL. One vote for Mexican food. I got the next vote here. I hate to do this. I do love Korean food. A little bit of kimchi, some kimchi loaded fries. We talked about like Americanizing some of this. You've ever had loaded kimchi fries covering like cheese and jalapenos and green onions and then just a giant hunk of kimchi on there? It is so good. Delicious. Some tofu bibimbap, just unbelievable. Get the little bit of like the egg and rice crusty on the edges of that stone bowl that they cook it in. Like so good. But a bowl of queso and a fajita chicken quesadilla is that. Come on.
George says Korean food doesn't own Tuesdays.
Yeah, they got a whole day for Taco Tuesday here. I eat Mexican food, I don't know, 4 or 5 times a week. Like legitimately nonstop I'm eating Mexican food. I have tacos more days than I don't have tacos. I have to choose Mexican food here. But Korean food, shout out. I wish you didn't have such a tough first round matchup because it's near my favorite on this list.
Yeah,
but you would have lost eventually.
It is a brutal matchup for Korean food. I mean, Korean food, I do love pho. And Korean food might have the single
That's
best,
Vietnamese, right?
That's Vietnamese.
close enough though. Korean food
Not
might,
at all.
Very different.
Korean food might have the
Extremely
single
different.
best item on this entire list, or one of my very favorites. I love the Korean chicken wings, like the way they do them.
Oh, Korean fried chicken, just in
Korean fried
general, is
chicken,
so good.
unreal. I even like the chain ones, like Bonchon. Do you guys have Bonchon where you guys are at?
Mm-mm.
No,
No.
there's one here in Baltimore that's supposedly so good. I only eat the vegetarian. Or they have like broccoli there, but they have these like fried chicken sandwiches that people love.
We got one in
called
every
Empty
time we go to Houston. There's one near the house that we stay at called Chai Mac that is just like Korean fried chicken and Korean bowls, and it is so good.
Yeah. So it went up against Korean. It went up against the wagon, against the buzzsaw that is Mexican food. So I just had to give a shout out to some of my favorite Korean stuff. I know Mexican food's going on, so let's move it on and move along.
Okay, our next matchup is Indian food versus Chinese food here, and I've got the first vote. And this one is probably the easiest one for me. And it's not that I don't like one of these, it's just that I really love one of them. Indian food is one of the elite food tiers. It's up there with Mexican food as far as the best options. And for me, I'm not vegetarian like JL, but I don't eat a lot of meat, and I don't eat any red meat. Indian food is it's such a friendly menu usually as well. I get the aloo gobi, which is a cauliflower and potatoes and like a spicy brown sauce. It's so spicy, so bready, so delicious. Indian food is clearly over Chinese food for me here. Coop, you got the next vote.
So I am a big fan of spicy foods, which Indian
Me
food,
too.
they take spice to another level, a dangerous level at times, a level that challenges your manhood. You know what I mean? Like Indian food is like, there's
Never
certain
had that
foods.
experience recently.
Yeah, there's Indian foods that like you go there and like if you go to an Indian food place for the first time and you've never been before, and the hot sauce is on a scale of 1 to 5, you never pick 5. All right, like you never ever. You have to earn your right to pick 5 because you never know. You never know. But I'm telling you right now, the high end for certain places.
Simon.
Yeah, certain like Vietnamese places, Indian places, the 5, you can't go straight to 5. You could try 4 first, and then next time you could get 5. But yeah.
So a couple weeks ago, so a couple weeks ago, Maria and I took a little trip down to Texas. See Simon, see Leanne, see my brothers down there, his kids. And so we went to this Indian place. We met my brother, had lunch at this Indian place in New Braunfels. Well, Simon decides to get the spiciest level.
It was called, they had mild, medium, hot, and Indian hot.
You don't touch that unless you've had the medium before. You can't go straight to Indian.
Simon he's feeling himself, feeling the confidence is with him. He's like, I got this. This will be fine. He gets his food, starts eating. We're all talking, chatting. All of a sudden, I look over. Simon's eyes and face are red, and he like can't see his like little slits for eyes of like his all you can see is like his pupils poking out from the side, and he's just crying from all the spice level of the food.
It was like a scene. It wasn't like a couple tears. Like I like looked up and all of a sudden I was like drenched in sweat and like bawling from my eyes, just not able to handle it.
He made Leanne go in and get water because he didn't want them to see.
I didn't want to walk in. That would have been humiliating to then walk in like sweating and crying to get more water, right?
That's hilarious. But that was that was really good food.
You got it, dude. You can't go straight for Indian level spice, dude. It's another level. They operate on a different plane. But I do love when it's crazy spicy like that. But I gotta vote for Chinese food here. There's something about Chinese food that is somehow but I'm talking mainly about the Americanized version, to be honest. But just how it's not even about people don't say like, oh, I don't like Chinese food. It's what Chinese food do you like? And there's so many staples: the chicken finger, the crab rangoon, the wonton. Like I gotta go Chinese food here. So even though I love the spice, I gotta go with Chinese food. And I love that Chinese mustard. I in fact have the mustard powder, and I make my own, and I use it for other foods. I think the Chinese food mustard, that spicy mustard, needs to gain a wider acceptance. Not just
I
for
think I've ever
Chinese.
eaten it.
Me neither. I'll
Really?
check
You
it
never
out.
had it? It goes right to the sinuses, dude. If you ever have like a cold or a sinus infection, just get some of that Chinese mustard going, that'll fix you right up, dude.
There we go. Well, John Luke, it is tied here. 1 vote each for Chinese food and Indian food. What's moving on?
Indian food is the only other food on this list that, other than Mexican, from which I will always leave a restaurant way too full. Like I can't stop myself. It's always been that way. Mexican and Indian food are my 2 top favorites. So it's going to be Indian food here against Chinese food. And I am just sitting here dreading when I'm going to have to choose between Indian and Mexican or
Dude,
Italian. God.
You can make it on. You've got Italian versus Mexican next, JL. That's
Indian
tough.
buffets. Indian buffets are like my happiest place in the world.
I think we're making a mistake leaving Chinese food behind. It's just such a great comfort food. Like you just know, like, I don't know about you guys, but when it comes to Chinese food, like I know exactly where I'm getting it from. I know exactly what I'm getting, and I know exactly how I'm eating it, what order, what sauces. Like it's just such a great comfort to have. Where Indian food for me is always an adventure. I always get there and I'm looking at it and I'm like, I don't know. I got to figure out now. I got to Google what this is, and it's always good. But with Chinese food, that to me is just such a staple. It's sad to see it go down in this bracket.
It's probably a familiarity thing because like you can flip flop those 2 for me. Like with Indian food, we know the local restaurants. We know which ones we want for specific things. Like if we want the aloo gobi, go here. If we want the curry, go here. We're familiar with the menu, but then we never order Chinese food. So every time I open up a Chinese food menu, I'm like, okay, so I know sweet and sour chicken, and then what else am I looking at? Like, and I have to read everything, figure it out.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, Indian food goes on. I'm glad. I enjoy Indian food. I like a little spice. So.
Tommy down here is saying anything that has something called poo-poo platter has to win. Saying Chinese has got to move on.
Makes a good point.
We got our next matchup here. It is Japanese food versus Mediterranean food. And Coop, it's back to you for the first vote. Which one do you want to move on?
So Mediterranean food is a pretty broad category, and I'm a big fan of shawarma and like those like wraps, especially with like falafel. The right falafel wrap is I wouldn't even want a quest to go through all Boston, checking a bunch of different places, trying to find the best one. That's still an ongoing Boston. George in the chat is a Boston guy.
I feel like your accent doesn't come out too often, Coop.
No, it's
Boston.
Every once in a while it does, but some people it's over the top. But yeah, no, not for me. But I gotta go Japanese food here because I just personally am such a big fan of sushi and trying different ones and the sushi experience and the sake and all that. Now is hot pot, is that Japanese specifically? That's Chinese. Okay.
Yeah.
Jeez, Chinese got a bum rap, dude. I love hot pot. But yeah, give me Japanese anyway by association. I'm just gonna take everything I'm thinking about Chinese and just pile it into that and just bring it with me.
Japanese sushi moving. 1 vote for Coop. John Luke.
It's sushi.
Where's your vote going?
I am not the biggest fish guy. I never have been. I used to eat some fish and crab before I was vegetarian. Now I don't eat any. Mediterranean, on the other hand, has been a staple of my life the entire time. I love Mediterranean food. Sauces, falafel, so good. Kebabs. I gotta go to Mediterranean here.
1 vote for Mediterranean.
And French fries.
And I used to go to a Mediterranean place for lunch whenever before I moved to Texas all the time, and they had Greek fries.
Greek fries.
They would cover in feta chease and tahini sauce, and they were so good.
Or
now,
tzatziki.
When you guys get like a Greek wrap, like a Greek, whatever, let's just call it a wrap for the sake of it, because I know they have a lot of different names. Do you like when they put the French fries in there, or do you prefer not to have the French fries in there?
I like it.
I like
French fries pretty much every scenario. I've never met a French fry I didn't like.
You've already included French fries within 3 different food categories.
I'm telling
use
you,
that as a reason to vote for that category. So,
and they're going to come back up again. French fries. I've been saving a secret French fry weapon for some point.
French fry
on my side. My sister's favorite food of all time is probably hibachi, some Japanese hibachi, and I do like it, but That garlic tahini sauce that comes with Mediterranean food is just so
tahini, man. Tahini is like God's nectar.
Oh my God, it's so good. And then I've recently become a kava fanboy. It's like Chipotle, but Mediterranean food.
I'm going there for lunch today.
I'm going to go there for lunch today too. As soon as we said it, I'm like, yeah, we're having kava.
I'm meeting someone for lunch at kava.
I'm going to vote for Mediterranean food. I hate leaving Japanese food behind. And here's what it's going to happen. What's going to do it for me? I like sushi, but I'm not comfortable with sushi yet. It freaks me out every time I eat it because I'm a recent sushi eater. There's such an activation energy. There's so much hesitation to take that raw piece of fish and put it in my mouth. And then I enjoy it every time, but like I can never eat a lot of it because it's like a lot of effort to eat each piece. So I give up. So I'm going to vote Mediterranean food.
There's a mental barrier you need to get over. And on top of that, you guys aren't steak guys, which that's a big reason to vote for Japanese. Like the Japanese style steak where they do it like it's like Wagyu beef or Kobe beef, and it's like a huge grill, and it's done like hibachi style where they just like go through the whole, half the fun is like the whole like presentation and like the whole like wiping things, like flipping it around and handing you
toss you the shrimp in your mouth.
Toss the shrimp in your mouth. They hand you a little bowl or something and while you're like watching them. Yeah.
They do a little choo-choo train with the onions.
So it's all part of the experience, though. But if you don't like steak, then I can see why Japanese food is not going to be.
They don't have a ton of vegetarian options that aren't sushi. Vegetarian sushi is decent. I like it, but
and the other thing is with a lot of Japanese food as well, they're using like fish oil and fish sauce and like other dishes that are non-vegetarian. So it might make it even harder for you to like find veggie options.
Yeah.
Dependent on the place. We got some people in the chat with suggestions. Nick said Zanku chicken in LA. Get that garlic sauce. I'm on my way. And George said, I got a place for you in Belmont. Oh, do you, George?
Yeah, George. What's the is it a Greek place? I need to know.
Or is he saying come stay in Belmont? I got a place for you to sleep, unrelated to the food.
And we'll just go
around. Totally unrelated offer.
We'll just go around the city and just try a bunch of different. Yeah. Either way, I accept your offer. So I'm sleeping over. We're trying a bunch of Greek places. Let's do it, George.
Hal said, why have I not been to an Indian buffet? Hal, do yourself a favor. Look up your best reviewed local Indian restaurant. Right. See if they have a lunch buffet and treat yourself. Because truly there are few wonders in the world as good as that, an Indian buffet.
Shout out to him for the best Indian buffet that ever existed.
Oh, yes. He brought it to me once in Clemson. His parents brought his local Indian restaurant from New Jersey. He brought it down and I came, it was like a Sunday night. I drove over to your guys' house just to eat salmon masala with him. It was the only reason I came over was to eat that. It was so good.
Well, guys, we are moving on to our semi-final matchups here. John Luke, you've got the first vote in this battle of the behemoths between Italian food and Mexican food.
I hate this.
I know you do.
I hate this so much.
I will say, guys, if you hate the votes, go into the YouTube. You can vote in there. Tell us how wrong we are. And if you think JL is super wrong, you know what he hates? He hates when the videos get likes. Because he gets he gets a little embarrassed, because like now we're making fun of him, and now the more likes it gets, the more people are going to see it on YouTube.
I'm very shy.
The more popular it is, right? So like JL hates that. So if you don't like his picks, then hit that.
Please don't do that to me. Yeah. Please
but
do
if
not.
do
not do that.
Right. But if you do like his picks and you also like the video, then obviously like it too. But like, if you hate his picks, then hit the like button, and if you like his picks, then hit the like button.
And if you don't have an opinion, that's cool. Thanks for hanging out.
If you don't have an opinion, smash that.
I get it. It's like 6 a.m.
If you don't have an opinion, smash that like button.
I swear I don't have any opinions before. Like the first hour I'm awake, you could say anything to me. I'm just like, yeah, whatever, man.
Okay. I'm also in the chat voting for the ones that I like.
The chat did not agree with us on some. They said Chinese food. 80% of the vote went to Chinese food over Indian.
Obviously.
And Japanese won that one 66%. That last one.
Yeah, naturally, because there's a bunch of smart, warm-blooded, attractive, and intelligent Americans in the chat voting for the right things, and then there's you guys
and non-Americans.
And non-Americans.
Shout out Kevin.
Shout out people all over the world picking the right things, and then you guys picking the wrong ones.
Got to have darkness to have the light. That's
what
Grandpappy always said. Italian or Mexican? I'm gonna go. This one's tough. This one's very tough. I have to go with the best of the best here, like the best of both genres, and put them up next to each other. And when I do that, Mexican wins every time. The best Mexican beats the best Italian. Italian is certainly more versatile than Mexican food. But at the end of the day, if I have to choose one, I'm going Mexican food.
One vote for Mexican food. Jail, earlier in this bracket, you credited French fries to the Italian side here. You may say you didn't, but we can run the tape. You then credited it to, I believe, to Indian food as well, and to Mediterranean food, if I'm not mistaken. But the
not
one
Indian,
genre of food that fries should be credited to in this is Mexican food. If you guys have never, at a Mexican restaurant, ordered a plate of French fries to dip into the queso, you are missing out on one of life's greatest joys. Because Mexican restaurants, I don't know what it is, their fries, always the best. Always crispy, always hot, always fresh. Maybe because nobody orders them, so they have to make them right on the spot every time you get them. But then you get that bowl of queso and just dunk those fries in there. It is every time. Here's the reaction whenever you order fries and you dip it in there. Every time people go, fries at a Mexican restaurant, and they're going to get all judgy. And then they're going to watch you dip one fry in that queso, and they're going to go, oh, can I have one? Can I try one? Like it's what happens every time. You're gonna get looks, and then they're all about it. I'm voting for Mexican food here. Coop, Mexican food is moving on over Italian food, but where is your vote going?
Honestly, I was gonna vote for Mexican food anyway, because Italian food is awesome. There's no question about it. Italian food has such a high floor. Well, a lot of the stuff you like can't miss with it, right?
Pizza,
it's pizza, wine. Yeah, exactly. The worst pizza is still awesome, right? But the thing with Mexican food for me is that like some of that stuff is so goddamn good that like when I bite into it, my brain tries to tell me like this is poison. Like it's so good. Like, have you guys had like the just like the chalupa shell at Taco Bell? Like whatever that chalupa is made of. Why is that so good? Like how do they make that taste so good? I don't even understand. Like, when I get like
some Mexican food is so good, and the elite choice that you went with was the chalupa shell at Taco Bell.
From top to bottom though, like the chalupa shell, talk about like chimichangas, and let's not even get into the elite drinks that come with going out to Mexican. I saw somebody mention tequila there. I've been getting into tequilas. I know Mike Fiella has been on a bit of a tequila. He's been drinking tequila old fashions lately with like reposado, and I think he's had at least one for 14 weeks in a row now. I'm just on the Mexican food kick right now.
What an accomplishment.
Got to move it. Yeah. Every day for 14 weeks in a row is what I meant.
That's wild. Mexican food unanimously moving on to the next round. We've had the last vote on that one, which means that Jail had the first vote, which means that this vote is mine on Indian food versus Mediterranean food. And this one hurts so much.
The chat was split 50-50 on that last one, by the way.
Right down the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. It makes sense, dude. It makes sense.
Also, Kevin Tompkins in the chat saying Coop wasn't throwing Italian food at Brett Flynn at the expo. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, might have thrown some tacos at her.
Get that.
Wait, I also threw a hamburger at her at the expo. I thought that was a jab my way. Also at Kevin Tompkins. I didn't hit her, but I did give a hamburger.
That hamburger was looking pretty gross.
Yeah, it was in my back pocket for a while, if we're being honest. Indian food versus Mediterranean.
Back pocket burger?
Yeah, as a prize for winning the trivia game that we were doing at the expo.
Nice.
She won a back pocket burger.
Nice.
Indian food versus Mediterranean food. I have told you about my recent love affair with kava. I can't replace the long-standing love I have for Indian food. And by long-standing, I mean about 2017, whenever I started eating real food. But Indian food is one of my happy places, one of my comforts. The spice makes you feel alive when you're feeling sad. You get that like serotonin rush from the heavy spice. You don't have to be nervous. Sometimes when I don't know a restaurant, I'm afraid of ordering meat. Like I want to order meat from a place I trust, from a place I've been to before, because I'm iffy about it, right? With Indian restaurants, I don't have to worry about that because there's something on the menu that's like a feature, not just a an option in case you don't eat their meat. They've got featured vegetarian dishes. Feels a little bit safer. So I'm voting for Indian food here. Where are you going, Coop?
I just looked it up. We have kavas out here. I've never been to one, but I'm gonna have to hit one up.
Let's all go to Cabo for lunch today.
I was just about to say that.
Synchronized.
Well, the nearest kava to me looks like it's like a 30-minute drive, so I'm probably not going to kava for lunch today. But I'll keep it on the back burner in case I'm in
30 minutes away.
Yeah, but for me, I gotta go with spicy. I love the heat. Bring it on. The more, the merrier. I also love the like different pitas and stuff that come with Indian food. Like you can get like the naans, yeah, the onion ones and the all that jazz. So give me the Indian food here. Mediterranean food is awesome. There's a special place in my heart for it, but Indian food, just got to kick it up a notch with the spice.
Pita versus naan. That's what we got going on in this round.
It's basically what this is, yeah.
Indian food is moving on, but you got to vote here. Which way are you going?
Yes, these I do love both of these. I'm gonna go Indian, and I'm gonna bring up a reason I haven't before, which is every single time I get Indian food, I specifically get the mint coriander chutney. Chutney is sauce. This is green sauce you typically get with any sort of sauce, and it is so good. My move is always the same.
Samosas, right? Like that's the green sauce that comes with the samosas.
100% the one that comes with the samosas. This is my go-to every time at an Indian place. Veggie samosas. Give me some vegetable samosas, and then the masala sauce, some masala dish, tikka masala dish like paneer, or just give me the sauce. Basically, throw that on a naan with rice, sauce, and then the chutney on top of that. It's all you need. It's like a little pool full of delicious Indian food.
Beautiful.
I'm going Indian food.
Well, we have a unanimous finals. Both of our finalists won their semifinal matchup unanimously, and it's going to be Mexican food versus Indian food.
Chinese food should be here right now.
No, it should not.
Chinese food got robbed. I'm sitting here. I'm like the 49ers fans. I'm like, if we just had our quarterback. If we just had.
We would have won that game.
We would have beat them.
If we would have remembered Hot Pot, we would have won that game.
Right. And now I'm hesitant to not just go full Brandon Ayuk and just root for Mexican food just because of Indian food beat my team. But I do love Indian food. You painted a beautiful chutney-filled picture just now, JL, that I'm sure has everybody fired up for Indian food at 9:00 Eastern time. But I gotta go with Mexican food. And Hal said it best in the chat. That chalupa shell is chemically addictive, legitimately. And I believe that might actually be true. For me, there's too much on the Mexican food side that I love, even if it is all incredibly similar. At the end of the day, I don't care. Like, I love the rice. If I went off to Mexican food and they just gave me the rice and beans, I would be amped up. And then now I get a chimichanga and a margarita. What, dude?
It's like every part of the meal is amazing.
It's amazing, dude. And I will say this:
I eat 30 whole tortillas before the meal even starts. In the form of chips, but
I was gonna say, like, are you pulling me when I was a little kid and asked for like tortilla dough before the food came out?
Four chips is a tortilla. You're down in those.
Dude. So so I'm in on that, and I will say there are 3 condiments that I think don't get enough love, and they need to be used more often. One, I mentioned earlier, the spicy Chinese mustard. I don't know why. I think it's just because they call it Chinese mustard makes you think you can't use it with other things. You can, and I encourage you to do so. The other one, tartar sauce. Tartar sauce does not get enough love. It can only be used on people are like, oh, you only use it on fish. Dude, tartar sauce needs to be used on more items. Sorry, tartar sauce is awesome, Jam. And then the last one.
I love it. SpongeBob being used, like the SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom game on PS2, recently remastered for the Switch. The tartar sauce is used as like a weapon to kill SpongeBob, and I'm supposed to eat that.
Interesting. Interesting little tidbit there.
Now, it makes sense because you eat tartar sauce with fish.
With fish. Now you get it.
Wow.
Now, the third one is sour cream. And sour cream, whenever I have Mexican food, sour cream and guacamole over everything. But sour cream, Doesn't get enough love. Needs to be used in more dishes. So yeah, I'll take Mexican food. It's got enough spice. It's got everything. So Mexican food. Boom. Give me that.
John Luke, Mexican or Indian food, which one is going to be your champion?
I'm going to go Mexican, but Indian, you get the nod. You get the nod.
Make it a unanimous victor. My favorite hot sauce in the world. Even when I'm not eating Mexican food, I am covering whatever I'm eating in Valentina Black Label hot sauce, product of Mexico. I put it on literally everything. And talking about spice, Mexican food doesn't fuck around with spice either. If you're getting like the real spicy stuff, like real Mexican food can compete with Indian food when it comes to spice levels.
Yeah.
They can get you.
There's
So
Hispanic spice.
Oh my God. It's gonna, I've learned that lesson the hard way as well.
It's the same thing.
I was at a factory in Mexico for work in the cafeteria. I think I've told you this. And I go through the line and I get to the end and there's a bottle of sauce and I grab it and I go to squirt it. And the guy I'm there with grabs me and goes, "No, like don't squirt that sauce on your food." And I looked at him, I said, "No, I'm fine." Same move that I did at the Indian place. Like I can hit and I squirt this sauce all
rips his
over my
arm
food.
back.
I'm in a cafeteria of 300 people, right? And I'm sitting there and all of a sudden I'm the freaking idiot white guy in the middle of the cafeteria crying and sweating. I had multiple people come up to me and just like hand me napkins to wipe my face with, just like unprompted.
The amount. All right. So the level that is helpful or like supportive versus it being like humiliating, I feel like is not correct.
The number of times that has happened to me twice
in
foreign countries. When I was in China, I wasn't even eating spicy food. I was just walking around Shanghai and it was hot. And I'm just sweating. And multiple people came up to me and offered me tissues to dab my sweat with. I was like, "Go away. Like, don't draw attention to it. I'm fine."
That's hilarious.
But it's so sweet. They're just trying to be nice.
Yeah, they were trying to be nice. But I was just like, come on. Like, am I really, do I look like that much of a problem? Am I that sweaty? Well, guys,
apparently you were.
Apparently I was. Mexican food is the champion of our food genres bracket. George saying churros for the win. The fact that Mexican food won without churros being brought up once is a testament to what a behemoth it is. Guys, coming up, we're going to play some Quotey McQuote face. And then we've got some Moreau You Know coming your way as well. If you're enjoying what we're doing here, you should head on over to our YouTube channel at Front Yard Fantasy. Hit that subscribe button. We've got another game show today and then other shows throughout the week. And you can find our clips and shorts on our YouTube. Right now, you're watching the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Better Sports Network is sponsored by Lucra.
Now being joined by Dylan Robbins, the CEO of Lucra.
Lucra is a unique new platform, but it really has a basis and a very simple idea is that we think that people want to bet with their friends, right? Our product is built off the fact that the casual fan is at the bar or at their buddy's house and they're putting $5 on the game and they're doing it on Venmo. And I think that there's a huge opportunity to open the market up to all these casual fans. A lot of people who feel boxed out by the traditional sports books because they're too complicated or there's complex jargon. They don't understand the lines or the spreads. And so Lucra's goal is to just make it simple. And our favorite way of doing that is we just connect you directly with your friends. So it's a social platform. It's peer-to-peer. We're not the house. We don't take any risk on these wagers. We just are a marketplace to kind of connect you with your friends directly to engage. So it started as just a business for sports. We've expanded outside of sports now. We offer 150 recreational games from cornhole to beer pong to darts to Weddle to Peloton, you name it. You can challenge your friends now on Lucra. And you've got all the gaming and tracking and stats and leaderboards to go with it to make it fun. So it's a bit about what we do, and excited to chat with you guys about it today.
What's the future growth of Lucra?
Good question. I think for us, it's really the expansion outside of sports. I think that we've proven that sports is a great model. We've got a ton of great customers who love our sports product, but we're really paving the way or really innovating on this recreational game side of our business as we think about all these unique categories and areas where people are competing. Spike ball, pickleball, all these things that are blowing up across the globe right now. Lucra is the first real way where people can bet with their friends on these games. And so we're getting a lot of new customers from that, a lot of brand awareness from that. And I think we're just trying to iterate that product, make it more fun, make it easier. But we're going to keep our ethos the same, casual, social, and fun. That's what Lucra's about. Our average contest is $10. This is not about bankrupting your friends. It's not about winning big and paying your rent. It's about the magic of the moment and making that moment better by having $5 on the line. If you ever played a round of golf on Sunday or watched a football game, you guys get it. You put a few bucks on it. It just changes the way you interact with that game. You watch it longer. You spend more money there. And it gives us a lot of time for us to, a lot of opportunity for us to partner with other brands because of that.
Better Sports Network is sponsored by Lucra. Winning is fun, and beating your friends is even better. Download the Lucra app today to challenge your friends and win money.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. I am sufficiently hungered by that bracket. I am just sitting here thinking about all the delicious food. George said churros at the end there, and I'm just like, churros. Do I go to the churreria today?
I'm so glad that I have that early lunch today. Typically, I wouldn't have. But I got early one. Early
lunch? Aren't you in charge of your own? Don't you work from home?
Yeah. But I'm not allowed to eat until 1 usually.
There's a lock on you got like one of those like locks on the fridge that only opens after a certain amount of time.
Yeah, it's one of those baby locks. Can't figure it out, man.
Have you seen those cases where like you can lock your phone in it and set a timer and you can't get it out until the timer goes? Yeah. And then the genre of videos of people having emergencies, but their phone is locked in a case for another hour where they're like freaking out. They got to call somebody and they're just, I love those videos.
That's why you have an Apple Watch.
Open Coop must have.
I have an app that that helps with that. It's like this forest app where when you like, if you're gonna like,
about this.
Yeah, you go in and you plant a tree and you say like, I'm gonna plant a tree for an hour and not look at my phone for an hour. And if you can grow enough of them, they actually go plant trees in real life, like the company does.
What's the name of it?
It's called, I think it's just called Forest.
Tree planter.
Tree planter app.
Yeah, it's called Forest. Yeah. And the thing is, so like when you go to pick up your phone and unlock your phone, the lock screen pops up and it says, "Do you want to kill this tree?"
Oh my God.
And I'm just like, most times I'm just like, yeah, I gotta kill the tree. But a lot of times I pick up my phone. A lot of times I pick up my phone and I look at it and I'm like, I actually don't need to look at my phone right now. And I put it back down. So it does help me with that. Where like sometimes I do have to kill the tree because there's something I have to do. But a lot of times I look at it and I'm like, you know what? I don't need to kill this tree just yet. And I put it down. So kind of a nifty app. Forest. Check it out.
I like that. Fast guy forest time.
Fast guy forest time. We're about to get into some Quotey McQuote face, the game whose name says it all. You know how it works, just based on the name. But in case you need an explanation, I'll explain it for you. Our contestants are going to be presented with an anonymous quote. Their job will be to tell the host who said it and what context they said it and why did they say the thing that they're saying. It can be super obvious. Sometimes it's going to be in the quote. Sometimes Jail's going to need a little bit more information, but it is solely up to his discretion. He is the game daddy today, and we are just your loyal daddy sons.
Didn't like that. Daddy sons. Could have just said sons.
Well, I had to make it clear.
Daddy sons. We got Eric in the chat. Said, "Morning, my dudes." What up, Eric?
What up, Eric? Welcome, man. You guys ready to get into this game?
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right. Simon, you went first in the last game. So, Coop, you're going first.
Very
you
cool.
ready?
Hit me with the quotes.
You're going to do so well, Coop. I just have a feeling.
Hooray.
We'll see. All right. Here is your quote. Remember, there are 2 points available for each prompt here, each quote. You got to tell me what who said this and what they are talking about. Cool. Here's the quote. You either win or you learn. It's something that I know will motivate me. Who said this? And also, close the chats if you haven't already, contestants. And that's a good reminder. If this is your first time watching, throw your answers in the chat. We will praise you if you get it right. Probably make fun of you if you get it wrong.
So I didn't see this quote. I didn't see this quote, but I'm fairly confident that it was from an Eagles player. Because it would be very weird for a Chiefs fan to be like, you either win or you learn. And this time we won, baby. We didn't learn a damn thing. You know what I mean? Like, I learned a damn thing. I'm a champion. You know, you just do. Yeah, Creed Humphrey just rubbing it in.
Chiefs.
Yeah, no, it's probably probably an Eagles player saying, hey, you win or you learn, and this will motivate me even though we lost. It could be anybody. So I'm just going to go with the guy who they ask the most questions to when you lose a game like this, which is Jalen Hurts. So give me the context being the Eagles losing the Super Bowl and the player being Jalen Hurts.
You're going to go with Jalen Hurts. He's talking about losing the Super Bowl. Well, Coop, that is correct. 2 points for you. Let's go. I didn't know
been any.
I was going with that, so there's no way you guys could have known.
You really threw me for a loop there. It could have been any. It really could have been any Eagle, though. You know what I mean? Like it could have. I had to just take a shot.
Chief too.
Except for Eddie the Eagle.
Simon, I really got to say thank you for not leaning into your microphone this time, like you usually do. When you do animal noises, thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Anything for you, Coop.
There you go. Well, Coop, you are ahead in this game 2-0. Simon, your next Quotey McQuote face is for you.
Let's do it.
All right, your quote is, for us, when you look at officiating, I don't think it's ever been better in the league. Simon, who said this? What are they talking about?
I feel like I remember seeing this, and I can't remember who said it. Can you say it one more time? Maybe the words will jog it.
For us, when you look at officiating, I don't think it's ever been better in the league.
I don't think it's ever been better in the league. Who
Coop, you know it?
said this?
I do know this one, so you got to get this one, Simon.
I know. I'm forgetting who said it, but I'm remembering it being said. I remember this story, and I can't remember who said it. I'm going to go with, this is
the story of a girl.
the whole world.
Sorry, you two, don't yell at us.
That was actually so good. That was so good. We're going to get copyrighted.
I was going to say, I'm not sure that was close enough to the original to be a problem. The guy who said this clearly is in the NFL's pocket, right? This is someone who's in the NFL's pocket speaking and saying, oh, the refs are the best. So I'm going to go with, this is clearly Tony Romo talking about the officiating in the league post Super Bowl 57.
Tony Romo talking about officiating in the league post the Super Bowl. That is incorrect on both accounts.
Yeah, cool.
Coop.
I'm going to be so mad when I hear this.
So I did see who said this, and it was actually a guy we've talked about earlier on the show, a fellow that was pretty drunk after the game talking to Chris.
No.
This was the commissioner of the league, Roger Goodell, and they were asking him if he thinks that the officiating has been a problem for the league. And he actually turned around and said, he basically turned around and was like, you know what? I think the officiating is the best it's ever been.
He just started gaslighting the reporter who asked the question instead.
You know what?
What bad officiating?
I haven't seen any bad officiating.
Yeah.
You must be going crazy if you're seeing bad officiating.
Yeah, I do have something to say on this after. I want to see if this is the correct answer first, but then afterwards, I do have something to say on it quick if you don't mind.
So, Coop, sorry. So summarize it one more time because I got sidetracked there. So
basically, from the context I understand was they asked Roger Goodell if like the league needed to address officiating in the league, and he kind of turned around and said that I believe the officiating is the best that it's ever been.
That is absolutely correct, Coop. That's going to give you 2 points. This was Roger Goodell talking about the current state of officiating in the NFL.
Yeah. Now, I will say, obviously, it's so easy to slam dunk on him and be like, you're an idiot. And did you see this call? And did you see that call? But I will say that, I think a lot of people they look at things through, they think the grass is always greener on the other side. But when I was a kid, I remember the grass at that time, and it was dead. The grass was dead. It was literally like, if there was a bad call, you just had to suck it up. Like there was no challenge. Are you kidding? Like that was like a joke. Like when you're a kid, you're like, oh, what if they came up with something where I pressed a button and it told me what song I'm listening to on the radio, and then they invented Shazam. Like that became a real thing. Like the whole idea of challenging calls would have like people would have been like, "You're crazy. That's never gonna work." When I was a kid, like, oh, what if like the refs make a bad call, but then you're like, "Oh, I challenge that," and then they look at it again, and then they come back and say, "Oh, never mind, we got it wrong." Like it sounds like a joke, but they actually do that now. Which back in the day, that was it. Like if they made a bad call, the game was over and you lost. So the fact that you can challenge stuff now, and that there is all the replay reviews, and that they have been fine tuning the rules to actually make them make a little more sense, I think. I hate to say it, but the officiating probably is the best it's ever been. Now, does that mean that it can't get better? Absolutely not. Of course, it can get better. But I think right now the officiating probably is the best it's ever been. I mean, can you go back in history and point at a time where the officiating was better? No. Right? Then I think that's the crux of the quote. Like, you can't go back and be like, oh, actually, Raj, in 2008, that was the best year for officiating. Like, I don't think it was.
No, I think a lot of the issues come from like with the resources available, with the replay available, with the technology available to track the ball. How are we still having so many bad calls? You know what I mean? Less like compared to past times and more compared to what the expectations are. But I get what you're saying, Coop. I'm more in agreement with you. You're always going to think the officiating's bad. You're going to remember the couple bad calls and not the 500 good, and it's a really tough job.
I would just love to hear if somebody gets pissed about that. I'd love to hear Roger go, all right, yeah, which year was the officiating better? Like 1984 was it better then? You think? Like which year was it better than 2022? And I doubt anyone could be like, well, actually, it has gotten worse. It hasn't gotten worse. It's fine. Shut up.
I said you were correct, right?
Yeah, you did.
All right, Coop, you got 4 points now. And Tim said in the chat wasn't it Roger Goodell?
Tim.
You are correct. You are correct. And Victor on the last one got Jalen Hurts. Well done. Well done. All right, let's get into our next quote here. Coop, Simon. Coop. Back to Coop. Okay. Coop, here's your quote. And we just challenged each other to leave everything out there. And I don't want to say we played tight in the first half, but you didn't see that same joy that we play with. And I want guys to just know that everything we worked for is for this moment. You have to enjoy this moment. Coop said this. What are they talking about?
I'm just waiting for the day when it's just like a basketball player. We're just not even close. You know what I mean? But I imagine this has to be somebody talking about the Super Bowl. I would guess it's from from the winning team. We challenge each other. You know, I don't think you're getting a lot of upbeat quotes from guys like Marquez Valdez-Scantling who didn't catch any passes. I'm going to go ahead and say that this was Juju Smith-Schuster talking about how the Chiefs offense kind of came on in the second half and they overcame a 10-point deficit.
Coop, I will give you 1 point for that. You correctly guessed the context within reason, but you incorrectly guessed who said it. So, Simon, you can steal this point from Coop if you correctly guess who said it.
May I hear the quote one more time?
You may.
You may. And we just challenged each other to leave everything out there. I don't want to say we played tight in the first half. You didn't see that same joy that we play with. And I wanted the guys to just know that everything we worked for is for this moment. You have to enjoy this moment.
And who did Coop guess?
I guess Juju.
Yes, Juju.
Okay. That's what I thought. And that was immediately where my mind went here as well. I'm not sure why. We have to challenge each other. For some reason, this feels like a defensive player because but the Chiefs offense really stepped up in the second half and they're having fun out there. You know what I mean? I'm going to go with this is, that doesn't sound, Travis Kelce was screaming too much for this to be him. He wouldn't have gotten that many words out that like right after the Super Bowl. That dude was yelling.
He was out of control.
Completely out of control, but in the best way possible. I'm going to go with this is Jerick McKinnon talking about winning. They probably talked to him because he slid down at the 1. They got it going. It was a team game. Jerick McKinnon is the player, and Coop already got the context.
Jerick McKinnon
is correct.
It's incorrect.
Oh. Who was it?
It was Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, I thought it was too obvious.
See, the vibe of it made me think it was like a position, like somebody within a position group, which I guess Mahomes and Chad Henne is the quarterback group, but it felt like
Right.
somebody being like me and the guys, like me and the running backs, me and the wide receivers, not just Mahomes.
Me and the boys.
Me and the gang. Did you, speaking of Travis Kelce going wild after the game, did you guys see him saying nobody picked us to win this game? Y'all picked
Yes.
Like, dude, you guys were the 1 seed and the best team in the league and the Super Bowl favorites pretty much throughout the entire year. Like,
Right.
nobody picked you guys. Come on.
I owe FanDuel some money if that's the case.
Yes, nobody picked us.
I mean, that I understand what they're saying. This was supposed to be a down year for the Chiefs. You know what I mean? That was a narrative. Patrick Mahomes struggling last year. They lost Tyreek Hill. The other teams in the division were all hyped up. You know what I mean? With Devontae Adams going to the Raiders, with Russell Wilson going to the Broncos. Like, this was the down year for the Chiefs. No one thought they were going to be bad. They just thought this isn't maybe the elite team that we've seen in the past couple of years.
I felt like that narrative got left behind last year, though. And of course, this is just my perception of a narrative, public sentiment narrative. So, like, you have to take that with a grain of salt. But the way I perceived it was that the Chiefs put it back together. Like, they were able to overcome the cover shell defense last season and able to traverse that narrative. So it didn't feel like they were the underdogs coming into the season. You know what I mean?
Oh, I agree. They weren't the underdogs. Like, I never used that word. I agree. I'm just thinking, like, from them, I can see how they can pull that narrative without it being like completely made up. Like, there were things said, even if it wasn't said we were the underdog, that they could take as people saying they're the underdog.
Right. The same team, except they don't have Tyreek Hill. We're the underdogs.
Yeah, like it was people viewing them as the best team to viewing them as the 4th best team. Know what I mean? Like, that was the extent of their perception dropping.
Right. All right. Well done, Coop. That puts you in a solid lead here, 5-0. 5-0.
Wait, really?
Yeah, I've been crushing, bro.
Oh, that happened quickly. I knew you were going to do well.
You were rooting for me to do well, yeah. I mean, we're all big fans of me.
Yeah. All right. This next one. Let's see, Coop.
I did lose a game 30-0 yesterday, so I needed a bounce back today.
That was brutal. And we got Ninja in here, said, happy Valentine's Day, brothers. What a wonderful and interesting NFL season. Happy Valentine's Day to you. You know what? Bros should wish each other Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day more often.
I got the chat closed. Is that strong style ninja or which ninja is that?
That's strong style ninja.
Or ill
mind Jedi. We got ninjas, Jedis, dude. We got everybody.
Ninjas, Jedi. You're right.
Ninjas, Jedis, and George. What a bunch we got down there.
All right. Let's see. So who went first on the last one? Coop did, right?
Yeah, he did.
That was the third one. It was Coop. So this one's Simon. All right, Simon.
Boom.
Here's your next Quotey McQuote face. Not bad for a system QB, right? Simon, who said this? What are they talking about?
Not bad for a system QB, right? People think of when they think of system QBs, and that would say that recently. Someone that like won an award. No one would say that about Jalen Hurts or Patrick Mahomes. Actually, they might say that about Jalen Hurts. That has been said, that he was just a product of his system at Alabama and at Oklahoma. He would never reach that elite level in the NFL. Like, I feel like he's not typically what you think of when you think of a system QB. I feel like you're more thinking of a guy who just like a game manager is what I think of immediately when I think of system quarterback. But system quarterback could just mean you're supported by the system that you're in. I'm going to go Jalen Hurts said this after the conference championship game. I'll go Jalen Hurts.
Sorry, so you said
Jalen Hurts said this after winning the conference championship game.
That is incorrect on both counts.
Yeah, that's fair.
Coop, you have the opportunity to steal both points here if you can correctly guess either who said this or what the context is.
I got a narrative for this one. And I think that this one, this sounds like the exact kind of snarky response you would get from this guy. And I'm imagining that somebody is talking about like this player just announced his retirement. And somebody's talking about all his accolades and everything that he accomplished. And then he says, not bad for a system QB. And I'm thinking that this is Tom Brady. So over all the years, people were like, oh, it's Belichick, it's the Patriots, calling him a system QB, blah, blah. And then somebody finally is like, talking about Super Bowls and all this stuff, and he's like, yeah, not bad for a system QB, right? So give me Tom Brady, kind of his response to somebody kind of talking about his retirement and his career.
Tom Brady talking about his retirement and his career is incorrect.
Ooh,
Simon, I will give you the
I
opportunity
thought you had it there.
I felt good about that one.
Simon, neither were guests, so I'm going to give you the opportunity for redemption here.
Pretty good for a system QB. This is I don't know who this is. I have no idea who said this. I'm going to go with this is Joe Flacco when confronted with his Super Bowl victory. Someone asked him if he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, and he talked about his Super Bowls. Then he said pretty good for a system QB, but he wasn't tongue in cheek. He was just being honest. Like, I'm pretty good for a system QB.
That is incorrect.
Damn it. I thought that was it for sure.
Your last chance.
I wonder if this is somebody trying to like either actually be mean or make a joke where somebody's like bringing up
saying it about someone,
about somebody being like, oh yeah, pretty good for a system QB, which I could see somebody saying it about Tom Brady, or could be somebody saying it about Patrick Mahomes. I don't know. Is this Travis Kelce making a joke about Patrick Mahomes where they like, brought him up and all that? And he just goes, yeah, pretty good for a system QB.
You're going with Travis Kelce talking about Patrick Mahomes as a system QB, and that is incorrect. No one will get points this one.
Is it a Niners player? Is it a Niners player talking about Jalen Hurts? That was my next route, my next thought.
This is Eagles left tackle Jordan Mailata talking about Jalen Hurts' Super Bowl performance.
Yo, unreal Super Bowl performance. I know we've talked about it already, but that was unbelievable watching him in that game. Wish he would have gotten the W for it, but he looked so good out there.
He's pretty good. Besides the fumble that was returned for a touchdown, that was pretty bad. But the rest of it,
that part was bad. Rest of it good. 70 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns. Not too shabby.
Yip skiddly do.
Let's see. All right, so that one was Simon's.
Yeah, and I scored a resounding 0 points.
0 points. So Coop, this last one is yours.
Cool.
Your quote is I'm
very confident.
I am very confident. Your quote is, I ain't never seen nothing like you. You different. What? Coop, who said this? What are they talking about?
Is this Roger Goodell again?
I
ain't never seen Goodell.
That's him talking to Chris Jones after the game.
I ain't never seen nothing like
you. You're different, bro.
You can hit the quarterback however you want.
Can you give it to me one more time?
I would poop my pants if we ever got a mic'd up with Roger Goodell saying that.
Can you give it to me one more time?
I ain't never seen nothing like you. You different.
Really sounds like something Deion Sanders would say, right? Like sounds like
what, when he's looking in the mirror
every day. Every day he has like
you different. You know, he starts his day with some He starts his day with some morning affirmations. You know, Coach Prime looks in the mirror and does that.
Yeah.
Prime time.
I kind of want to make that my guess. Coach Prime talking to himself in the mirror. I ain't never seen nothing like you. You different.
What's it gonna be?
It's gonna be Coach Prime, but it's Coach Prime talking about Jalen Hurts.
Coach Prime talking about Jalen Hurts is incorrect. Simon.
Just based off the look of joy on his face whenever Sky Moore scored the touchdown, I'm gonna go with this is Kadarius Toney talking about Sky Moore after he scored the touchdown during the Super Bowl. Like, because that dude was hyped on the sideline. I don't know if they've got like a camaraderie or something in practice, but Kadarius Toney was the happiest astronaut I have ever seen after Sky Moore scored right there.
This was not the happy astronaut.
Damn it.
Talking about that.
Is this
Sky Moore touchdown?
Is this Sky Moore talking about Kadarius Toney's punt return?
It's like, damn, bro, you look like an astronaut.
Yeah.
This is not Kadarius Stoney talking about Sky Moore. Was that your real guess?
That was my guess. Yeah. Well, no, my guess was His guess was Kadarius Toney talking about Sky Moore. My guess was Sky Moore talking about Kadarius Toney. All right, Simon, it's back to you then.
One more. Can I take one more shot here?
I took a second.
Yeah, take one more shot.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with this is.
Neither one of you gets either the context or the quote by the first go round. Then I'll offer redemption. If one of you gets one of them, I don't offer redemption.
Right, exactly.
This is Chris Jones talking about Jalen Hurts and his performance in the Super Bowl, saying that it was like a really special performance, being a gracious winner.
I like that.
This is not that on either part, on either accounts.
I like the good sportsmanship aspect of it, though. I'm gonna pretend that narrative's true, just like Coop pretending the tricks always got the rabbit always got the tricks.
I've in my mind, I've just been thinking about like who it definitely isn't saying this. Like I'm just picturing like Belichick saying this. Like,
well, neither of you got it right on either accounts, but someone in the chat did get the author of the quote correct. This was Pat Mahomes talking about Patrick Mahomes' performance.
Shut up. Was it really?
Yeah.
So somebody got Patrick Mahomes in the chat, and then we got the narrative.
Mahomes' dad.
We got the narrative that it's his dad talking about him.
Mm-hmm.
We got the narrative. I thought we got the narrative that it was somebody talking about themselves. With the
and he says you different.
You different. I ain't never seen nothing like you. You different.
Sorry, Jackson.
It's the tongue. Yes. Someone's clearly the favorite.
Did you guys see the clip of Patrick Mahomes' dad with the cigar?
No, I did not.
He was like walking through the tunnel, and a reporter got a video of him, like shouted at him, and he's got the cigar in his mouth, and he's like, "We smoking those blunts today?" And he goes, "We smoke," and then the reporter's like, "Huh?" He's like, "We smoking on that Philly blunt today."
Patrick Mahomes' dad after the Super Bowl.
I think awesome. I don't know if it was after or before, but he had the cigar after the Philly. We smoking that Philly blunt.
LeGarrette Blunt, like 15 feet away, was like, "What?"
Yeah, I don't know. That reminded me just that phrase. I saw a clip of it was a bunch of like former NFL legends together, and they were talking. I'm sure it was from like a podcast or something, but one of the players was talking about, man, like back in the day, we used to be drinking and smoking at halftime in the locker room. And then it cuts to Lawrence Taylor with a look of genuine shock on his face. And he goes, "They're not doing that anymore." So Lawrence Taylor was the greatest defensive player of all time and was legitimately shocked to learn that people aren't drinking and smoking in the locker rooms at halftime anymore.
That's hilarious.
Like the look on his face. I'm going to have to send you guys that clip. It's all the look on his face says, "What? Jail, is this official? Have I lost this game?"
You have officially lost this game, Simon. 5-0.
5-0.
You'll get him next time, Simon. Hey,
Coop,
better than 30-0.
Hey, that is true. Guys,
30-0.
Coming up, we are going to get into some Moreau You Know, teach you a little bit about things that we have learned recently. Before we do that, though, I want to remind everyone that we're sponsored by our friends over at Lucra. You can download the Lucra app now by clicking the link below us on the screen. And use promo code BSN to sign up to get a free $10 to play with, plus a 100% deposit match up to $100. Download the app, challenge your friends, and then come on back over here and hang out with us while we talk about some Moreau.
Yeah.
You're watching the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Front Yard Fantasy with Simon, JL, and Coop.
Sell me on doing away with the two-conference system in the NFL.
Is it really a sale whenever this is something that's commonly agreed upon? I'm selling you on water being wet. I'm selling you on something that is objectively true right here. We look at teams at the end of the season and we go, how the hell does one team have such an easy schedule while another team is just absolutely getting obliterated? And that's because of the two-conference system, because the division system feeds into this conference system. It's a symptom of the greater problem. Like these divisional matchups, you're telling me it's fair that the Buccaneers are in the playoffs after playing the Panthers twice, the Falcons twice, and the Saints twice this year? That is unbelievable. There are multiple more deserving teams every single year that because of this system where we silo them into random groups, it determines the order. And yes, Originally, this was geography based, right? We had these divisions, they were geography. It's 2023, my dudes. Geography doesn't matter whenever it comes to the size of the United States. These teams can travel anywhere. They don't need to geographically locate them in divisions or conferences to make the games make more sense. If USC can be in the Big Ten, why the hell can't Miami play San Francisco every year? It can happen. They've got more money than these colleges and they're not taking classes. All it does is create an ecosystem where less talented teams can get rewarded for playing in weaker divisions and more talented teams are punished for continuing to improve.
Damn, bro.
Drop the mic.
I like to picture some geography teacher out there just threw a pen on the ground. He was like, how dare you? He smacked the globe. He was like, what do you
all
mean?
the hard work we've done.
2023, geography doesn't matter, right? Smacks his
You know
globe.
how long it took for us to get respect?
Globe goes spinning around, right? Geography doesn't matter. How dare
I'm
you?
just imagining they ripped on the world map and underneath is algebra 2. Like they just go straight into being a math teacher.
Lunch Money with Kyle and Ray. Weekdays at noon Eastern, presented by FantasyGuru.com.
Paper straws. Oh, they're so bad, Ray. I mean, I'm almost tempted to say screw Mother Earth. Give me a real straw. The paper straw thing is a step too far in saving the planet for me.
It's a great idea. The problem is it has to last. Like, it can't go mushy halfway through my drink.
That's
And
the
I think
problem.
That's the problem. They have a hard time standing up if you don't drink that.
100%. That's my issue, Ray. I'm all for taking care of the only planet we got. But, Ray, some people like to drive a lot. I don't. I don't get on them for they have to drive 20 minutes to work every day. Can I just get a plastic straw? Like, I think, Ray, we should be able to pay for a card that says, I don't drive every day, so they said I could have this kind of environmental impact by getting a plastic straw. I am in favor, Ray, of government-issued plastic straws if I have the proof that I'm worthy of such thing. If you want it, you get it. It's kind of like the Clear Pass. You know,
Yeah,
at the
there you go.
airport.
Okay.
Like, Ray, I'd be willing to pay an extra $2 a year, and I get as many plastic straws as I want when I go out to the restaurant.
And the $2 goes toward cleaning the oceans or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's not a terrible idea. Not terrible.
Call, chat, enter contests in real time. It's Sports Talk 3.0 with Better Sports Network.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. I hope you're ready to get a little learning on because we are about to drop some stuff that we've learned in a segment that we call the Moreau You Know, where we take things we've learned, some interesting facts, some interesting tidbits, some stories that maybe haven't been unearthed, and we share them with you guys. Coop, I think you were excited to share yours today. You had one ready to go.
Well, I'm excited because last time we did Moreau You Know, you knuckleheads talked for so long that I didn't even get to share mine. So I've been sitting on this one for however many days that's been. You know, you guys were literally like, here's a fun fact from each of us. And then I was like, and you're just like, all right, show's over. Bye, everyone. So that's it. Show's over, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Last week I was watching an incredible film, really world renowned from an amazing actor as well. It was Gone in 60 Seconds with Mr. Nick Cage, right? And just great movie, amazing soundtrack. You know, green salad up, green salad down. You know, so it's a good movie. And then I'm like, I started Googling while I'm watching. I'm like, what are some like cool car heists, right? And I'm like looking through a few of them, and like somebody stole Quentin Tarantino's car from the movie Pulp Fiction. Somebody stole one of Guy Fieri's Lamborghinis, and there's a video of this like 16-year-old kid like cutting a hole in the roof and like rappelling down and stealing the car, right? And then I got to a giant heist in London where like 28 cars were stolen, Gone in 60 Seconds style, and I'm like, this has to be the biggest heist of all time. It was like well over $2 million. One of the cars is worth $350,000, right? So I'm like, this has to be the biggest one. So then I searched biggest car heist, and that was not the biggest car heist ever, and it wasn't even close. The biggest car heist in history, where the most cars were stolen at once, actually happened between Sweden and North Korea.
The countries?
The countries, essentially. Back in the 70s, apparently North Korea back then, they weren't as like crazy as they are now, and they were kind of up and coming. You know what I mean? They started on the up and up, kind of like how South Korea is now. It wasn't as crazy back then. And at the time, the Swedish government, along with Volvo, agreed to send over $70 million in heavy machinery, along with 1,000 Volvos to be. I guess they were going to be used as taxis or whatever they were going to end up being used as. And they sent the cars over, and North Korea was like, thanks.
Never paid them.
Never paid for the cars. So that's the biggest car robbery in history, was basically North Korea stealing 1,000 Volvos from Sweden and just completely stiffing them on the bill.
And they just left it at that?
It literally, to this day, it has not been paid. It is not paid.
Does North Korea hit them up every couple of years? It's like, hey, interested in making a deal on some cars? Trying to get them to fall for it.
Spend some more. Yeah. About that.
We loved the last ones.
Yeah. So as of today,
what are your options? Your options are don't get paid or declare war. Know what I mean? Like you just don't get paid. Like there's not like a non-aggressive option to get that. Like, what are you going to do? Like sue North Korea international court? They're going to say like
probably should have thought of that before you shipped the cars, my guys.
Get some payment. An important lesson you learned today, Sweden.
Right. Yeah. And so according to NPR, that $70 million bill is now worth, in today's money, it'd be $322 million. So I don't think any car thieves cutting holes in ceilings are going to ever have a heist as high as 322. So I think that one is probably going to hold that.
I don't know.
That one's going to hold that record for a long time.
That's truly wild. When you started with 350,000, I was expecting the next number to be like 600,000, and it was going to be like one rich guy's car collection getting stolen, or a couple million. Know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
like 3 million, and like 2 Ferraris and a Lambo got stolen from this guy's garage,
which is a big heist, right? But
big heist,
pretty impressive heist.
1,000,
but it's no North Korea.
Yeah,
that's wild.
Got him.
That's a good one, Coop. You know what? You sat on it, but it marinated, and I think it hit harder because of the marination.
Had all week to think about it, guys.
There we go. John Luke, do you want to go next? Or you want me to jump in here?
What do you think they did with all those Volvos? You think they're just they just still have them like perfect condition? It's like a trophy.
Yeah, I mean, like I can't imagine people are driving around all over the place in North Korea. Yeah.
He uses a new one every day. That's why they got them. All cars are single use. They're disposable.
365, one for every day.
You're
saying you just keep it going. Okay.
Yeah, they keep it going.
They only lasted a couple years.
Joke's on you. We make a pretty terrible car.
I mean, they're Volvos, so they're probably still like indestructible and running around right now.
Are Volvos good?
Yeah, Volvos are being incredibly reliable vehicles.
Remember that old Nokia phone that was just like indestructible?
Of course, I still have it.
That's basically what a Volvo. That's basically the Volvo of like that's that phone is what Volvos are to cars. They're just like safety tanks.
Safety tanks.
Beautiful.
That's a good one, Coop. I'll jump in here. My one's pretty short. It's something I did not know. We talked about Joel McHale on the show before. Simon, I believe you mentioned you brought him up recently, but you brought him up on the show before as him on the Manning cast. Tangential to football, right? Like we've had random intersections between Joe McHale and football. But did you guys know that he actually played tight end at UW?
What?
He was a walk-on tight end at University of Washington.
Then why did he sound so football stupid on the Manning cast?
I don't. Back in '92, he was a walk-on. He only played on the scout team for about a year and a half. I believe he's a rower. He was on the rowing team, and then he ended up going to the tryouts, the walk-on tryouts for football, and just liked it. He enjoyed it.
Jeez, he's a big fella. I got a picture of him up now. Let's have the Rose Bowl. He's a big boy.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's an article here with a bunch of quotes from his former teammates, like one from the quarterback on the team said, "I can't believe how skinny Joel is now because he did really take a lot of pride and put on a lot of weight. He was never an athlete that those other guys were, but I think he genuinely did care about it and wanted to be a player. So yeah, I think he did bulk up and then, turned actor, bulk down.
Dude, this, it's crazy looking at this picture. That's the power of Hollywood. He actually looks older back when he was playing.
Right. In 93, he looks older than now.
He looks like in this picture of him in his uniform, he looks like that other actor, Michael Shannon. You know that guy? He's got kind of like a blockhead.
Blockhead.
He looks more like Michael Shannon than he looks like himself in these old pictures.
Also, if he was at University of Washington in 93, how old is Joel McHale?
47.
That's pretty old.
I just made that up.
Much older than I thought.
He's 51, even older than that.
That's crazy.
He's still,
but
still looks pretty good.
You're right. The power of Hollywood. Like Tom Brady looked like a dweeb ass when he was at Michigan, right? Like you see him in his college uniform and he's got like this goofy haircut, a dad bod, and now he's like hot. You know what I mean? Like now he's like 40 plus and he's hot. He's a DILF. Like people love Tom Brady. And in college, he was like this dweeby nerd on the football team.
McHale said, I really didn't know what I was doing. It was not smart. It was one of those things where I didn't know how long I could do this for. And then I turn around and all of a sudden 6 months had gone by. I gained a bunch of weight and I was in much better shape and I was really enjoying it.
That's awesome. That's pretty cool. I had no idea that he was
that is so funny too, because you're right. He acted like he didn't know a thing about football and he didn't care.
Like he played it up almost as like a bit that he didn't know about football. But from the quote that you're saying, Joe, it sounds like maybe he didn't care about football then either. Like he just tried out, made it there, and was like, I guess we'll see what happens.
Scouting. I don't think he ever made it into a game.
That's awesome.
Bro, and it looks like when he was there, he backed up two tight ends that played in Super Bowls. What the heck? Dude, so he was a backup.
Some legends.
Yeah, he was a backup on the team behind a guy, Ernie Conwell, that played in a Super Bowl, and also another guy, Mark Bruner, that played for the Steelers and then went to the Texans. So, jeez.
And they played with someone who starred in the television show Community and was guested on the Manning cast. They probably brag about it to all their Super Bowl buddies.
True.
I got a real quick one for us here. I had a different one, but this is one that I found out during the show today. I Googled it a little bit earlier. And Coop, this one's for you. The Trix Rabbit has eaten Trix 3 times in the history of Trix, but only 3 times. And Coop, I don't think you remember too many of these. The first time was in 1976, where he dressed up as a balloon seller and got to have a couple bites before he floated away. One more time in 1980, and then again in 1991. Every time he's been able to eat Trix, it was because of a contest where kids got to vote by mailing in box tops with a yes or no vote on whether or not he should eat them. So Coop, your rabbit got his Trix. He got them.
And I'm not crazy because the other kids wanted him to eat the Trix too.
There you go. You made it. Guys, that is going to be it for us today. The rabbit got his Trix. North Korea stole Sweden's cars, and Joel McHale plays football, apparently. We will be back tomorrow from 7 to 10 a.m. Eastern time for some more Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show, and every day, Monday through Friday. But stick around here on BSN for some more content coming up next. You've got Moose and Keith, followed by Lunch Money. We'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. Until then,
see ya,
adios,
NKC.
everyone.
See you, Dame. We love you.
Bye, JMO. Bye, Dame. Bye, NKC.